Grace and peace, everybody. We're back. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. You know what we're about to do tonight? We're going to go ahead and we're going to look at, hold on, I got my ears. I hear myself in my ears. What am I doing? Why do I hear myself talking to my own ears? I hate when it happens. And just like that, found it. All right, be quiet, Jason. All right, y'all. This is going to be a good one tonight. So I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have seen and heard that we had a little dust up today about this whole shenanigans that happened yesterday with Candace reading this really long email. And it just really seemed off. Well, needless to say, come to find out, it was off. There was a lot of problems with it. And so that video dropped earlier today. And so now my X account is going cuckoo bananas. I don't even use X like that. And it has gone off the rails. So anyway, we might have some guests today. As I always say, let the Candies come on up here to the front of the church. Candies, go ahead and get this front row, these front pews of the church. We welcome you. We want you to come in and hear. We really do. I also have a guest today because I don't think I could do this all by myself. So I had to go call some backup support. I had to get somebody else to come in here and check out with me. So thank you to everybody who's in the best live chat on the internet. Thank you to the moderators who are already getting this thing moving in the right direction. Let me go ahead and bring my guest up in here. We got Carrie. How are you doing, Carrie? Real Carrie Smith, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Jason. I'm touched that you asked me, and I'm very grateful to you, by the way, sending all of your green hearts.
Hey, we like that. We like spreading the love. We like meeting new content creators and encouraging good Christian content creators to keep on doing it. So you keep on doing it. We're going to keep on supporting you. All right. But real quick, just in case somebody doesn't know who you are, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, your channel?
Sure. I host my new channel is called Deprogrammed. I've been podcasting since 2017 or 18.
Okay.
But I started this one a few years ago. It's called Deprogrammed, and it's about started off about leaving the woke left ideology and finding God. And I just talk about things I'm interested in. We have a Christian panel every 2 weeks. And sometimes we do current events, and other times we do things like what is the natural law and who is Thomas Aquinas. So if people like that kind of stuff, they can join us.
I love it. I love it. If the mods could just please make sure that Carrie's channel is in the chat, as well as make sure that our bingo board is in there as well, because we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to have some fun on this evening. Real quick, I'm going to bring my bingo board in, and then Carrie, you can grab yourself one. I believe the link has been dropped in there.
Okay.
In the chat. Let me bring my bingo board on so we can see what we're working with today, Jason. I'm feeling blackout bingo again tonight, y'all. I really am. And by the way, if you are a candy, you are welcome. You are welcome. Shout out to all the candies. Y'all are welcome to be here. All we ask that you do is just, hey, hang out with us. Hang out for a second. All right. So here's my candy Rott bingo. I'm feeling good about this one tonight. We got feds. We got we got planes. Trust me, bro. Vibes. I won't share that yet. Jewish donors. Betrayal. Best friend. I know, but whatever that dumb statement is. I don't know, but I know.
I know.
Mama whatever. A random person. She doxes someone. Free space. Let me go ahead and get my free space right now. Trump gets called out. My gut. All right. Weird. Patchwork theories. I don't like. Calling an expert a liar. CIA. And you know what? Just, because I don't have it on my bingo board. If you have CIA or FBI, you can have either one of those. Because I know one of them is going to get called today. Calling out a random country. Israel did it. Leaks, sneak diss, and stay tuned to tomorrow. Let's get ready to have some fun. Go ahead.
So this should last us about 15 minutes.
What should last us 15 minutes?
All of those squares. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you'll probably have blackout bingo. But look, the goal is for everybody to have blackout bingo. So please understand. There might be some shenanigans going on with my with the way we play this game. Like last night I just rage quit and everybody got blackout bingo last night. It was bad. It was really bad last night. Anyway, let's go ahead and with no further ado, I did download the video and I chopped out the commercials so we can make it a little bit faster. Let us go.
All right, you guys, I know.
How about this one? Do it like this.
That I say that every episode is going to be explosive, but the lies and the intentional misrepresentations that are being delivered by Turning Point USA and their affiliates, they are really reaching a fever pitch because we can confirm that Brian Harpole lied badly to.
That's it right there. An official, a professional lie. Calling an expert a liar right off the bat. I knew it was coming. Let me see. It's coming. Look, I might not even have to cheat tonight. I get this feeling I'm not going to even have to cheat tonight, Carrie.
To Sean Ryan, an interview that one of the heads of security gave the other day. And I'm going to explain to you how we know that. I'm starting to think that we should believe that nothing they've told us is real. Plus, I don't think we can reasonably ignore that odd French company in Delaware now that our source proved.
There is absolutely no reason for the French to be getting called out. There is no reason at all.
Don't you like the way she says certain words? It's just the tone can make it sound suspicious. It's like that odd French company in Delaware. And you're like, oh gosh,
right.
That sounds so fishy.
That's why I call it, that's why we have one called Sneak Diss now. Because she really, she's saying that to put into your mind a specter of something is wrong.
Yes.
Like, isn't it suspicious? I'm not saying it's suspicious, but why did... So she does that to create that. And matter of fact, when we get done, there's a fantastic video by John from What Do You Mean? I want to watch that as well, because he did an excellent job of explaining what we've been watching and laughing at and having fun with for the last however long. All right, let's go.
To us that it certainly wasn't established to provide any maintenance to those Egyptian planes, and it was more than likely a front for something else. We should address that. Because I know that many of you guys were wondering whether or not Charlie's assassination was meant to distract us from the Brigitte Macron investigation. And rightfully so. That is a fair question.
How did the Macrons get in here?
Well, what she's doing, Jason, is she's telling you it is meant to distract you because she never reached the end of that. She never ever delivered what was promised. And so it's like, she's kind of like revealing her hand, but putting it on something. I know you're wondering, is this new big thing I'm promising a distraction from the last big thing? And it is.
Right. Because I'm sure the Macrons were more mad at Charlie Kirk than they were dealing with Candace. Okay. That's what we're supposed to believe. Shout out.
Because as you guys know, it was Charlie Kirk that called me and told me that they wanted me to stop speaking about Brigitte. But the question is always, who is they? Who is they?
There's they. Y'all, we got they on the chat. Come on, this bingo board is already looking hot. Are you playing bingo too, Carrie?
I am. I'm playing.
How many do you have already?
I don't have any yet.
What? Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. No, I already got 4. There's no way in the world. Hold on. Wait, stop the press. And by the way, if you want a serious show, where we're really like digging deep and going all that kind of stuff like that, I'm letting you know right now, you clicked on the wrong channel. I don't care. Candace is a clown and I'm here to make fun of her. So if you're upset by that, offended or anything like that, please see yourself out. Again, the ushers will let you out of the church. We're not like Marvin Sapp. We're not going to close the doors. You can leave. We're here to have fun. Come on now, Carrie.
I don't have any. Look, I've got.
This is not acceptable. Hold on. Hold on.
This is my bingo card. Mine has.
Let me put it up. Let me pull it. This is not acceptable playing. Hold on. Get out of the way, Candace. No way. Can you zoom in?
Mine has planes, best friend, betrayal, irony. I have an email. Oh, if she uses irony, like that tone of voice.
Right. Yeah, that's it. There you go.
Okay, there you go. I got it.
Get something. Do not make me. I don't want to cheat this early in the game. We got guests here. Okay.
Random person vibes. Trump. I won't share yet. #1 podcast. I told my husband, I was like, I'm gonna go get a little freshened up in case the #1 podcast in the world drops by.
Right. Hold on. Somebody said I need to. You know what, Carrie?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Hold on. Somebody just reminded me that I need to bring my sound effect in. There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, I mean, we got guests here today. We got guests. All right. FOIA. What about that? Planes. She didn't mention planes.
Not yet.
You know it's coming. We know it's coming.
It's coming.
Right.
I
It's
just
coming.
sense that it's coming.
You know what? You know what? I feel it's coming. There you go. There you go. Now you should have two. People, if you want a serious show, you clicked on the wrong channel.
Grief is weird. Okay, I got to tell you, in those weeks following Charlie's assassination, I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I was honestly having an out-of-body experience. I didn't want to accept things. Obviously, that's the reason that I went away to Wyoming. But with every week that we move further from September 10th, I have more clarity. And I'm starting to focus on things that happened in those early days. And there are certain things that are playing in my mind over and over again. I would say that happened in the first 72 hours following Charlie's assassination. I was in a state of trauma, and not for a single second during that state of trauma did I believe that Turning Point USA
There we go.
would later be involved in what seems like a cover-up, right? It seems like if you have to lie ever, it's because you're covering up the truth. Duh.
That is so funny. So isn't not telling something considered a lie, as well as like if I tell you some of it but not all of it? Isn't that kind of considered a lie?
Yes.
Okay. So like not telling everybody that, oh, by the way, my lawyer's office is in the same building with the FBI, that would be considered a lie.
A lie of omission.
Right. Okay. I just want to make sure I got it right, because I just want to make sure I play the game right, because we got to make sure we play the game right. Because Carrie, you know what I don't like?
Is it lies?
But I don't like little lies. When there is one lie, there's 20.
I mean, maybe she's projecting. Maybe she's projecting out the fact that she herself is lying. Because,
I don't know, but I know. I don't know, but I know.
So, and yes, I am going to cheat. That is the I know on my bingo board. Yes, I did do that. Oh, let's go. Let's have some fun, y'all. Let's go.
And like I said, my initial sense was that all of us would come together and try to figure out who did this, because the Tyler Robinson story wasn't making any sense. Well, I want to tell you guys this. There's another phone call that I had with Andrew Colvett where I was crying on the phone with him. I mean, I am talking maybe 72 hours max after Charlie was killed. And he was also upset on the phone, but he said something, and it's hitting differently the more that I think about it. He said, and I quote, "Candace, it was supposed to be you. It was supposed to be you." Now, at the time, I dismissed this as some sort of bargaining, right? That's an actual stage of grief. You do bargain. You wish that it was this person. You could trade it. Maybe you wish that it was yourself. And to be honest, I did go through that phase of bargaining with Charlie. Like, why didn't it happen to somebody else? This is a good person who had his whole life ahead of him. I mean, I told you that even my father went through that stage of grief. My father was like, this makes me feel terrible because Charlie has lived his life so admirably, and like I've had so many chances in life, so many illnesses, and it just makes me so sad.
Should we?
This sounds very, very suspicious.
Oh no, there's a lot of suspicion in this already. I'm gonna go with Trust Me Bro. If you have Trust Me Bro on your bingo board, this is a Trust Me Bro story, because there's no way of verifying it at all. There's no way. And of course, this happened. So she said 72 hours after Charlie Kirk. So that's what, the 13th of September. So we're literally talking almost 8 weeks ago, roughly. And now she remembers it verbatim. Okay. All right. I got you.
And she never told us before. All the
and she
time
never mentioned it before, which seems to be very convenient. Okay. No problem. I got you. I got y'all. I got you. Shout out to the Best Live Chat.
But now I'm feeling a little bit different, removed from the situation. Like now I'm going, was I being, I don't know, was he being honest? Was Andrew being honest? Was Andrew trying to maybe communicate to me after, especially given the fact that I told you that while the actual day on September 10th, while Charlie was in the hospital, he told me that there was a list. and that me and Tucker Carlson were on it and that we had to lay low, but he never told me who told him that. I never got a call from the feds telling me that. So I feel like these questions I have now are quite valid. Andrew, by the way, was not the only person who called me on that day and reached out to my family on that day with this warning, immediately cautioning me and Tucker to keep our mouths shut, telling us that we should lay low.
Wouldn't it be a little bit more convincing if she brought up her own cell phone data? Here's my cell phone bill. You can see I got this call. The last 4 digits are 3579. So Andrew Colvett would know that she's talking about him, redact it out of there and say, hey, this was a call. And at least say, because right now we have no evidence to this at all. We just literally have to take her word that what she's saying actually happened. We don't know that anybody called her.
But even if he did, we're supposed to take her word about what was said on that call.
Well, that's true too. But right now we don't even.
Yeah.
Right. Why not show us like, okay, here's my phone log, because that's what she's going to want Andrew to do. That's what she wants Mike McCoy to do and all these other people. Why don't you show it, Candace? Why don't you show us your call log and say, hey, here's Andrew Colvett's phone number. The last 4 digits are 777-9311. Shout out to anybody that knows what that is. And put it out there and challenge him. But she's always pushing other people with no evidence.
Somebody in your chat's really astute, Miss Rish. She said that she's just provoking the people who haven't taken her bait yet. Like a narcissist needs attention, and Colvett has not, taken her bait.
Is smart. I think Alex is smart. I think all of them are smart. Go do something else. Let this woman sit right here looking just like she's looking. Because again, she doesn't have any content. Because in a moment, she's going to spend the rest of the show talking about that email that she got yesterday, which we've already proven is wrong, and also shown that all of that information she got from the mommy sleuth about the planes was wrong. She doesn't do any research. She doesn't do any back work to actually check this stuff and verify it. She just says, trust me. Yeah. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Because there was a quote unquote list going around. Another person was a very well-known woman who happens to be married to a CIA contractor. Same exact message.
CIA.
You and Tucker Carlson. But, of course, we cannot tell you who we are getting this information from. I'm starting to realize, as I consider who the sources are and their closeness to the military, and now that we've gotten into the story and realized that virtually everybody there that day has these military ties, that threat may have been coming from the government, actually.
I mean, we're legitimately, now she's moved the whole thing. The whole ship has been turned off of Charlie Kirk, off of the revival that was coming post Charlie Kirk. And now she's literally made herself the center of attention.
Yes.
This is amazing. This is amazing. I mean, shout out, man. Shout out to Candace. She is headstrong to make this about her. Because again, as I've asked this question before, Charlie Kirk was such a problem that they put Charlie Kirk's head to bed, but they left you and Tucker and Nick Fuentes and all these other yahoos around to run around and cause chaos. But Charlie Kirk had to be put out. Okay. That makes perfect sense. I got you.
That the globalized government that we live under, right? LOL to the idea that we have any national sovereignty, may have wanted me and Tucker to watch our friend die. And then that global gang wanted us to know that you will be next if you don't shut up. Like,
wait,
really,
what?
it was supposed to be you.
But
we're not going to take you out, but we're going to make you, we're so devious. We're going to make you watch and then know that this could happen to you. What? Again, you're right. She's about her.
It's about her. But even more than that, like, where do you get, like, there's no evidence to this story. I could just be telling you this out of whole cloth. And I think, this is a main character syndrome on crack cocaine. This is that Breaking Bad crystal blue meth from Breaking Bad. This is some crazy work here, because she's throwing out 9 people out here, no references, no evidence. We just got to trust you. Trust me, bro. It is all about her all the time. All right, let's keep it rolling.
And this new saddest angle is not something that seems subtle to me. When I consider that it was Charlie that called me, it was Charlie that said, that they want me to stop speaking about Brigitte. And now I consider Satis, which according to our source, our well-placed source, is a front, right? Suddenly this French company comes in and
Shout out to the French. Shout out, Viva la France. She really thinks she's saying something. Bless her heart. This woman is insufferable, man.
leases a hangar for only 2 years. Okay. And immediately this becomes a location where our Egyptian military plane is going to land in Wilmington, Delaware, not to get service. We know there was no maintenance happening because there was this lack of a lease.
It's funny because she hasn't verified this.
No.
She hasn't.
She does this all the time.
All the time. And this is really interesting. Again, it's fascinating that she puts in no effort to prove what she's saying. And she has not shown one shred of evidence. The last thing she showed was her own spreadsheet that she made with errors on it. That, ma'am.
She always has errors. I remember when she had another, one of her central delusions or obsessions is planes. She did another episode where she tracked these planes and if there was a TP USA or TP Faith event happening near these planes. And it was ridiculous. And she was going through as if this proves something, even though they didn't overlap on the same day. It was within a certain period of time frame, which is
3 days.
Yes.
Plus or minus 3 days.
And then she said, I couldn't find one in such and such city until I realized that's when this particular college chapter of TP USA was started. And then her producer told her, actually, that was later. That was a year later. And she just ignored it and kept going.
This is interesting because yesterday, and you said something interesting. Yesterday she said Charlie was fascinated with planes.
Did she?
Maybe he was. I don't know. But she seems to be fascinated with planes.
She is, and military back, that's part of her delusions. In a way, it reminds me. There's one of the characters. I don't think she's schizophrenic at all, but she does have some traits that overlap with schizophrenics, and one of those is they will often have a central, a delusion that's central to their disorder. I had a friend who struggled with this, and hers was pit bulls, and she would insert whatever you're talking about. She would bring pit bulls up. She couldn't stop bringing it up, and she would insert it into the topic. And Candace does this with military background. She's always talking about military back planes. She finds something very suspicious about that. Bees are really one of
things that fly. Things that fly.
Yeah.
Things that fly. Because she was harping on the drones. She's got the bees. Now she got talking about planes. Yeah. I mean that's anyway, I think that's a good point. By the way, real quick, she bragged about that to Tucker. If that's about her and the planes, could you hit me up with that, Sheena? If you could, if that's what we're talking about. Let's keep this game going, man. This is fun. Thank you, Carrie.
Since 2021, all of this now feels really interesting, very interesting. And don't forget that same source claimed that after our Egyptian plane, tail number SUBTT, landed into this federally monitored hangar, and a foreign dignitary was then discreetly moved to 920 King Street, which we've learned and confirmed houses the DEA, the FBI, and the Secret Service.
And my lawyers. Just make sure you add that little snippet to it. I never argued that the DEA and the FBI and all them people were, okay, fine. But don't forget the fact, Candace, that your own lawyers are in that building. That's the part that I think people are really ignoring. No, don't ignore that part. Candace's own lawyers are in that building. So if you want me to believe all this nefariousness is going on, that's fine. I will let you have all of the nefariousness. You must also give me my nefariousness that they're working with Candace's lawyers. That's why she's able to do this stuff and not get sued. Remember, I asked you that a couple of days ago. Why is it that she's able to move so recklessly? Because she's a plant. Prove me wrong. She's a plant. She's a plant from the feds. Prove me wrong. And her lawyers are working with the CIA and the Secret Service and all the other alphabet military groups. There you go.
Quite rare, right? Quite rare for the Department of Justice to be coming together with the DHS. I mean, that's weird. So
In
what
your
does
office.
France have to do with it, right? What does Tucker Carlson have to do with it? Rationally, when I begin to create a timeline of when my life took a very different turn, it is because I began prodding the narrative on Israel at the exact same time that I began.
I don't even care. Israel did it. Y'all can have it. Y'all can have it. Israel did it. If you got Israel did it on your board, you know, I want to say she's doxed somebody, but nah, I'll wait for a second. I'm sure. Now I do got random person though. If you got random person,
I
she
got random
definitely,
person.
yeah, she definitely has already been throwing out random people. We don't know who these people are. Like, what are you talking about?
She
And
said
please
someone
understand.
called me my source, and she had a husband who's in the CIA. Okay, who is this
Yep.
person?
Yeah, who is this person? And then if these people, what avenues did you go to ensure that this information was factual? Because we also found out that, you know, on that Mommy Sleuth spreadsheet, you actually have to pay for that information. So that means that somebody put out money to do this research for you. Did they mention to you that they had to pay for it? Or did they just make it up? I'm just wondering. Let's go.
And looking into the Brigitte Macron story. That was in March of 2024. It was on March 13th, 2024, that I did the very first ever episode on Brigitte Macron, right? And then, wham, I am fired within 10 days. It's a pretty quick turnaround. Charlie, of course, was a staunch defender of mine. Immediately when I got fired publicly and privately, he held my back, and then suddenly donors start to squeeze him and tell him that I can no longer hit the stage at Turning Point's AmFest.
I do have a question, because that sounds interesting. What did Charlie do to support her when she got fired? When she says Charlie had her back, what did he do?
She doesn't say.
She doesn't say, and I'm like, well, what? And maybe somebody in the chat can say, hey, you know, he did this and other, but what did he do to have her back? Like, what was the tangible back having the activity that he did? What was it? Because I don't know. And I would think, this is just my thought, if Charlie Kirk had your back like that, we would have seen that email. We would have seen that text message. We would have seen that DM, because Lord knows you don't have any problem sharing anything else. But the only things you've shown us are things like 5-7 years old. A lot happens in 60 months.
Yeah, she doesn't have it. That's why all of her texts are 7 or 8 years old, because she doesn't have that. She didn't have that kind of relationship with him anymore. And
that's what I want. That's what I believe.
But
Go ahead.
I did see, this is interesting to me. The Candace, they don't ever think about things like this. They're never like, wait, why are all of her friendly text messages with him from so long ago? Yeah, because everything you could see in the public eye was such that, you know, he's a Christian. He's not going to turn his back to someone who he was such a close friend with, even if he believes they've really gotten off the path and strayed from the way, the truth, the light. But, you know, I wouldn't cut someone off completely either. But so for her to say, you know, we were still friendly, I believe that's true. But
Yeah,
they
I
were
don't
not
doubt that.
close friends. She
That's
doesn't
what I
have
doubt.
these messages. Yeah.
That's what I'm doubting. I'm like, I'm not saying that you don't talk and send birthday texts. I'm not saying that you don't talk and say, hope your kid is doing well. They got a baseball game. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is the deep, because she makes it sound like they were talking every day, more than he talks to his wife. Yeah. Pause. That's problematic. So more than that. So why is she doing that? And she doesn't have evidence. She's just saying it.
Yeah.
But where's the evidence that if you talk to him that much, then you should have text messages 2-3 weeks before he died.
I also really don't like the way
Go ahead.
she shares information, that it's a trust me bro thing, that she has no way of proving, that you're just supposed to take her word for it, as if it's coming from him. Like, even in this short little clip here, she says, you know, and then he had my back, but donors are pressuring him to distance himself from me. We're just supposed to take your word for that, because he's not here now. And you get to stand and put a megaphone on his grave and say that you speak for him.
Yeah, I'm going to put Jewish donors. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take Jewish donors. Did she say Trump, or am I hallucinating?
I don't think she said Trump yet.
I don't think Trump either, but Yeah, I'm gonna get blackout bingo tonight, y'all. I'm just gonna tell you. And if I have to, I will finagle it. I'm gonna get it one way or another. I'm gonna get that blackout bingo. So let's go. Let's keep going.
They want me gone from the Turning Point roster, right? I bring my new independent show back in June. And the timeline, actually, when I start to put these things together, is interesting. So we're going to bring that up here because I like timelines. It makes things neat, right? So we are in 2024, right? March 13th, I do that first episode regarding Brigitte Macron. March 19th, just 6 days later, I'm fired from the Daily Wire. I thought it was 10. It's actually 6 days later I get fired from the Daily Wire. Then in mid-November, I begin communicating with Xavier Poussard regarding the potential to interview him during an upcoming trip to London. Xavier Poussard is the person who wrote the Becoming Brigitte book. He has never been sued for defamation. And I was only going to interview him one time because he had never been on camera. And I thought that would be a great get. And I still believe that Brigitte Macron was born a man named Jean-Michel Trogneau. Suddenly, on December 3rd, before I interview him, I receive the first ever cease and desist letter from Brigitte Macron and her lawyers. And the funny thing is, I didn't receive it. They sent it to a really strange inbox that was not monitored, right? This is on December 3rd. You can see.
Strange inbox to whom? To your lawyers. And so it's just funny because she does, in fact, she uses that information. That was her basis for a lot of the Becoming Brigitte. What the pictures and the clippings that they put into that letter is a lot of the stuff that she was using. The wedding photos, the birth announcement, all that stuff is in the actual complaint. And it was in the original cease and desist letter. This seems interesting.
Please see attached the time-sensitive legal correspondence sent on behalf of our clients, President Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte Macron. We urge you to provide this correspondence to legal counsel promptly. They sent it to the Club Candace info. I was totally a random box to send it to, so we didn't get it.
Oh.
We go back to our timeline. That's December 3rd. And 7 days later is when it's announced that Satis, that's when it's publicly announced that Satis, that French company, has inked a deal in Wilmington, Delaware for a hangar. Okay? They're suddenly a French company. The CEO, who knows Emmanuel Macron, we've confirmed that, decides they're going to sign a 2-year lease for an airport hangar to do what? To paint planes.
This woman's actually serious, y'all. I know, y'all. We got to take a station break. Carrie, she's actually serious.
Yes.
The French bought a hangar in Wilmington, Delaware, because they need to do something about Candace. But the French also are able and capable of putting Charlie Kirk's head to bed, but they left Candace Owens, I guess, as a message. Okay. Gotcha.
It's just so convoluted and ridiculous. And she'll drop things and then but then unless she needs it again later, she'll bring it up, like you said, and pretend like she proved it before, but she didn't. And you're like, that's never been proven, but she'll bring it up.
Just like the 12 Israeli cell phones. It'll never be brought up until it's necessary. Did you hear that about the 12 at UVU? There were 12 Israeli cell phones on campus that day. And apparently that's a bad thing because there's no exchange students. There's no study abroad. There's no foreign students that go to UVU. So because of that, we're supposed to look, but she never talked about what it was supposed to be. Same thing with the valves and levers. Go ahead.
She doesn't have to, because the people who are wound up in this cult, their imagination can go off on its own in a million directions. She just has to say it like it's suspicious. There were X number of cell phones there from Israel that day. And they're like, she has to say it like it's a suspicious thing. And then they just start filling in all the gaps for her.
Filling the gaps for her. Okay, somebody, shout out to a moderator, has just emailed me and said that she did in fact say Trump. So I gotta go ahead and take Trump's name off as well. Oh man, we cooking now. We cooking. All I need is feds, and I'm sure I heard feds. I'm sure I did, but I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll be patient. How you doing? How many you got?
Let's see. I have I have 8.
Okay, cool. Okay. And we don't want anybody to come on the show and then
Elsewhere in that article,
we don't want anybody to come on the show and lose. We want everybody to be a winner on Candy Rott Bingo. Everybody's gonna be a winner. Let's go.
it tells us that it's a French multinational company that specializes in the painting of aircrafts, and they plan to open for business in a hangar not far from Wilmington Airport come the new year. So in 2025, this is going to be their hangar. Okay, interesting. Back to our timeline. That is publicly announced on December 10th. And then on December 18th, Tom Clare sends another follow-up email regarding the cease and desist. And again, I don't receive it because he's sending it to this random box. I am forever thinking in my brain now, what if I had received it? I would have been spooked. I would have thought that they were monitoring communications between me and Xavier Poussard, the obvious answer, because I hadn't been speaking about Brigitte Macron on my podcast.
The obvious. It's obvious.
It's obvious. It's obvious. You know what else is obvious, Carrie?
What?
I mean, besides this shenanigans, you know what else is obvious? That we are listening to a patchwork theory. That is very obvious to me.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that is obvious to you?
I think it's obvious that it's going to be a shocker at the end of this, the whodunit, because every week I can't keep up. It's the French now.
It's the French now. So the French, now we've left Israel. So now we're multinational to shoot Charlie Kirk. We are multinational now. Is this your? What is this? What is this you put?
I found the guilty. We can wrap it up.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Wrap it up. We're done. We figured it out. Shout out, man. We figured it out right here. Oui. Mon chéri. I mean, he looks like he says that. He looks like he's a mime or something. What are we doing? You are worse than. Look, you can't come over here to the best live chat on the internet and behave like this. You need to be on your best behavior, and that's saying a lot for us. All right, let's go.
So what was up with the cease and desist? I think my suspicion is they knew that I was moving to interview Xavier Poussard, which I then did. As you can see on the timeline, on December 21st, I interview Xavier Poussard in London. We did not release it, right? We fast forward, we receive, after he forwards it to our actual attorney, and we receive the communication. And it actually just makes me angry because I'm pregnant. Now we're in 2025, and I decide that actually I'm going to turn this now to an entire season, because who are you, French first man, to tell us that we can't speak about the story, which is incredibly interesting. And on January...
Isn't it interesting that she's now turned Charlie Kirk's assassination investigation into a full-on refutation of the Macron case?
Yep.
Now, it's interesting to me. It might not be interesting to you, but we've dug into the Macron case. I've been on the Macron case early on in this discussion. It's just adorable to me that people have kind of forgotten about the Macron case. I've seen people's comments like, did they ever sue her? Who won the case and stuff like that. So it's kind of moved out of people's minds. Why is she using this time right now, this very delicate investigation time, to bring the Macron case back into the forefront? And dare I even say, insinuate that the Macrons are involved in the deletion of Charlie Kirk. What's going on in the Macron case that she is trying to bring light to? That's my question. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get it.
January 31st, I release the first episode of Becoming Brigitte. Brigitte season 1 airs. And obviously this show goes viral because it was a shocking story, an unbelievable story. People worldwide are going, what the heck is going on? It's not what the press told us. It really kind of, it shocks your core that the press could be in on telling a lie this big. And then on February 17th, we premiere my sit down with Xavier Poussard. Okay. Jumping back into this timeline, that's on the 17th that email comes, that we premiere that sit down interview with Xavier Poussard. A couple of days later, on February 24th.
Do you have any idea what we're doing?
No, this is a narcissist's brain. Like it's all related to her. It's like, and on this date, I started thinking about writing my next book, which you can buy at da 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 da.
Right, right.
And on that
Like,
date,
why did she skip my birthday? I mean, like, why don't you insert everybody in the best live chats birthday up in this joint? I mean, like, why? You do realize that she said she was pregnant. So that means she birthed a whole human being and did not mention it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even mention it. And I don't know how her husband feels about this because she is crashing out for a dead man while you, a whole live husband, are upstairs playing with the kids. That's all I got to say. That seems suspicious. You know what I think about that? I got a feeling about that. You know what it is?
Yeah.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
I find it.
That's weird.
That you can crash out for, again, whether or not you and Charlie Kirk were best friends is not the argument we're having. Why are you not crashing out about your husband? Why are you not obsessed about your husband? It just seems weird to me. Your wedding anniversary is passed in this timeline, by the way.
He's an accessory in her life. Like he's like a piece of
He's like
furniture.
a beard. He's like a beard.
Yeah, or it's like
Pause.
something she owns. A beard, yes.
He's a beard. Pause.
Charlie Kirk reaches out and he tells me that the White House is asking me to stop speaking about Brigitte. And he tells me that it is related to the peace deal in Ukraine. That is ostensibly the reason on this same day, February 24th, that's how quickly the phone call happened. This is the day that Donald Trump meets with Emmanuel Macron. Do we have that, by the way, the text message between me and Charlie? Here we go. Yeah, this is February 24th. I'm showing you guys this now. Hey, I have something to tell you from the White House. They asked me to call you. I'm
not trying to be picky about this, but this actually has timestamps on it. There's a different avatar than all of the other ones that she's shown. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that it's phony or fake or false. I'm just saying that's interesting that this one actually has timestamps on it, because that was a big deal with the other ones, that there was no timestamps. But this one right here actually does have timestamps. Shout out to Erica Kirk's birthdays today. Shout out to Lady Kirk. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, does that not stand out to you?
That stands out to me. And also what stands out to me is that if the older messages she shared from 8 years ago are real, then this new message is exactly what I would expect from a friend who has kind of cut you off, like pulled back and gone, not no contact, but low contact, because the tone is completely different here. It's professional. He's not using any of the slang they used to use. It's not like, there's no exclamation points. It's very removed and pro. Like, hi, I have something to tell you from the White House. They asked me to call you. It's very professional.
No, very good point. Very good point. Let's go.
I'm just the messenger here, but it's important. I say, okay, I'm around, call me. Then we have the phone call. And then I was like upset about the phone call because I was pregnant. And then I felt bad. And I was like, okay, let me think about it, because I don't want people in Russia to be killed because I won't stop speaking about Brigitte if the Ukraine peace deal was at the center of this. And he says, okay. And then I tried to say, I will circle back tomorrow, or maybe I said tonight, call if you want to chat at all. And we did. We chatted. The next day, you can see he starts with, the White House just asked for your number, FYI. I think POTUS might call you. And that is not what happened. On February 25th, actually, Sergio Gore called me and asked me to stop speaking about Brigitte. And it felt more like an order than a request. And I did not respond in kind to that. February 26th, President Donald Trump calls me and asks me to stop speaking about Brigitte. Now, Charlie's in the middle of this. Communications are happening between me and Charlie about Brigitte, okay? On July 1st, and by the way, the series was over, and I said I'll agree to be quiet about this for a while because it's no longer relevant, and I don't want Christian men to be slaughtered in Ukraine because I'm not keeping my mouth shut.
What about the Christian men that are slaughtered in Nashville, Tennessee? Like, you do realize that there are other things going on, Candace. And it's the part that the issue I have with her. And this whole clown show is that everybody's making, the only thing that's important is what's going on 9 time zones away, not what's going on in your own city, your own town, your own HOA, your own church, your own home. None of that stuff matters as much as what's going on 9 time zones away. And that's kind of crazy work. Let us continue with this. Did you have something?
Oh, no, let's go ahead. I have too much.
On July 1st, Macron sends another legal threat. On July 18th, this is where things get really interesting. Charlie Kirk hosts Tucker Carlson at SAS. This brings in the Tucker element, right? He tells Tucker to go max, call out Israel, Jeffrey Epstein, just go max. And guess what? Tucker.
Have you heard that clip?
I have. Yeah.
Did
It
you
sounds like
get-
what you would tell someone before they go on stage.
Yeah, go Max. Go iPhone Max. It's just, this is so sad.
They imbue it. She's been imbuing it with all this extra meaning other than,
Yeah. But like go Max, that doesn't even, okay, fine. That still doesn't make sense. But okay, never mind. Let's go.
Really did go max. I want to actually play for you this clip of what Tucker said on stage. Take a listen.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
The unfairness of it drives you crazy. And it's particularly galling in the case of Jeffrey Epstein and the whole constellation of people around Jeffrey Epstein, all of whom seem to be getting away with scams. And how do you know they're getting away with scams? I'll tell you how, because they're useless and they're rich. So how do you come to a place where some of the least impressive, most useless people who have no actual skills become billionaires? How's that legitimate? And by the way, if you ask this question, at least in Washington, it's like, oh, well, yeah, it sounds like you're a socialist. Sounds like socialism. Yeah, okay, I'm a socialist now. All right. I was a Qatari agent or a bigot. Now I'm a socialist. All right. Leaving aside my committed socialism, can you answer the question? How did Bill Ackman get $9 billion? Bill Ackman, a pretty impressive guy? I know Bill Ackman. No. Bill Ackman's like well-connected and super aggressive. That's it. And I think, well-connected, super aggressive people deserve a fair living like everybody else. But if you're accruing $9 million just because you're willing to do anything, I don't know why we have to pretend that's good. How did Epstein get 4 Gulf Streams? How did he get an island, a massive ranch in New Mexico, the biggest house in New York? Like, what is that? Like, at some point, the basic economics really matter. And they matter because, not that it's bad that rich people are getting richer, it's bad that everyone else is getting poorer. And it's especially bad that young people can't afford homes.
So Tucker is
I have no idea what I just heard.
Shrieking.
Wow. I mean, I understand. I understand and appreciate that we need, but why? It's not a zero-sum game, just especially in the world that we're in today. Never mind. I'm just let it go. Tucker making me sleepy already, man. You making me tired. I got to. We have to take a commercial break. Did you have something you want to go?
Well, Tucker's been he was one of the biggest disappointments for me. I think he's gone off the deep end as well. I don't know
sure.
why. But I do know that clip where he said he was scratched by a demon in his sleep and woke up with claw marks and stuff. I know that some people were making fun of him, people that don't believe in spiritual warfare and stuff. They were kind of laughing at that. And I was thinking, actually, well, maybe it did happen and the demon got him because
I got you.
Because he sounds different. Even his laugh is different. His way of speaking sounds different than it used to. I don't know. Something's different with him. It's creepy.
No, I got you. I am one of those people that make fun of him.
Mhm.
I don't believe primarily that I don't believe that things happen exactly like that. If he had not said that he was in the bed with 4 dogs, I would have a different conversation. But being the fact that you say you're in the bed with 4 dogs
Right.
and something mauled you, and you immediately, and he said he was not a Christian, he didn't know anything about the Bible or anything like that. So why was your immediate jump to that a demon assaulted you and not Fido right next to you, or Cosmo or Scooby? Like why did Snoopy beat those charges, but the demon Screw Tape gets called out? I don't understand.
Screw tape. Or maybe he just had a dream about the demon. He really believes it, but that also, to me, is indicative of, I don't know, his mind's in a weird place.
It is indeed. Okay, let's keep her going. Let's go.
getting to the heart at there is that we don't live in a meritocracy, right? You have people who, because of their bloodlines, are just being handed things, right? Barry Weiss is a perfect example of that.
Barry
Nobody
Weiss?
knows why she is an executive at CBS. She has no objective talent. I will guarantee you everyone around her is smarter than her. And yet CBS picked Barry Weiss. There's a reason for that. There is a reason why people who are talented can be completely shut out, taken out, told that they can't even be in the system. Think about Kanye West, right? Because of what he's saying. And then people who have no talent are suddenly everywhere. Billboards. We're being told this is the most beautiful person, the smartest person. This person has what it takes to have a makeup brand, whatever it is. And they have no objective talent.
The irony is actually about to kill me. I'm trying not to die from the ironic statement that she just made. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
Yeah, just the irony. It's incredible to me. She acts like, to me, when she's always talking, bragging and boasting about how she built her platform all by herself with her sweat and tears.
Mm-hmm.
And she's acting like a pop star who signs to a major label, becomes famous, and then eventually is so famous they leave the label and they start their own label, which is great. You should do that. That's smart as a music artist. But then pretends like they build it all by themselves. And it's just not true. Now, there are some platforms that have millions of subscribers that have done it themselves, like Nerdrotic is one of them, like Eric July
Facts.
is one of them.
Absolutely.
The Quartering. There are those that they didn't have all these major labels to, it just makes me laugh. The Daily Wire built you, TP USA built you, PragerU built you. Like, don't pretend.
Yeah, and let's also keep in mind, your husband is no slouch, so it's not like you did a shoestring budget. That studio that you're in, albeit in your basement, y'all didn't come out. Y'all are not broke. And let her tell the story. She's the one that paid off $150,000 student loan debt in like 3 years, so she can go back and get two degrees. I got that video coming later. Don't worry about it. Just stay on that, y'all. Let's go.
That is not something that they would want messaged to Generation Z, generation coming up, who's recognizing that something's not fair, that perhaps this whole idea that we live in a meritocracy is one big illusion. Anyways, back to our timeline, right? Tucker Carlson says that, and we then have on July 18th that the request from Turning Point's UVU chapter, which we've not been able to independently verify, but that's what the local news said, that they saw it with their own eyes, but we didn't see it. That's when the request comes in for Charlie to speak at UVU. Very late in the day, never happens this way, okay? Like I told you, they are always working at least a semester behind on requests.
Do you know how long it's been since Candace has worked for TPUSA at this time?
I know it's been since over a year and a half ago that she was on a stage, June of 2024, I think, right?
To say that she worked there, because those are just hired mercenaries. So her being on stage is not actually that uncommon. I found a video of her on stage in 2022. But when was the last time she worked there? Do you have an idea? Do you know offhand?
No. Do you?
7 years ago.
Right.
So let me just ask you this, Carrie. How much stuff has changed in your life in the last 7 years?
I got sober. I got married. Became a Christian and bought a house.
Is it fair to say a lot? Is it fair to say a lot? Okay. So is it also fair to say that if something, maybe a job that you had 7 years ago, or a store that you went to, or a family member's house that you like going to, in 7 years, there would be a lot of changes there. Is that fair?
Fair.
Okay. Why does she keep talking like she's an authority on this? And why do the Candies keep allowing her to do that?
They let so much slide. And I think there's even one in the chat who's like, well, I will keep watching because she always brings receipts. What? I can put together a spreadsheet of dates.
Right. This is not receipts, by the way. This is not receipts. This is a Word document, a Google document with some bullet points. That's all that is. I can make one of those. I actually did on my show. I showed that the big deal was when she was showing those text messages, people were asking her to scroll up. Remember that? I don't know if you.
Oh yeah, I did. I saw that.
And I showed on my phone, I can do that scroll up thing with a picture, and I can take a picture of text message and scroll up, and you would think that it's new, but it's not. It's just a picture.
Yeah.
So these are not receipts, by the way. These are not receipts. And let me ask you another question. Have you been able to verify these receipts? Has she put them up in a Google Drive? Has she made them available for people to see and independently parse through? I'm just asking questions.
But this one's happening quickly. This is really interesting because BTT then comes in from Cairo through Paris. It lands in Omaha, Nebraska. And it's the longest stay, actually, that they have in Wilmington. Okay, they do this long stay, and that's not in Nebraska. That long stay that I'm referring to is happening in Wilmington. They stay in Wilmington for 6 days. Okay, that happens to be from the 20th to the 26th. That happens to be the period that Brigitte and Emmanuel Macron released to the Financial Times that they are suing me in a Delaware court. Right? Not saying that Brigitte or Emmanuel are on this plane. What I'm saying is that.
Then what are you saying? What are you saying if you're not saying that? What is she saying? What is she saying?
I don't know. Look, there was a plane that came into Delaware on such and such date. On that same date is when a lawyer contacted me that the Macrons. And what does that have to do with anything?
What does that have to do with the case? What does that have to do with it, Candace? Again, like if you're Candy, I'm just asking seriously, what does this have to do with anything? What does this really have to do with anything? Serious question.
Could it have been a dignitary that was on this plane? A French dignitary that was on this plane? All options are possible.
So we've moved, and I just realized this. You do realize that we've left Egypt.
Yeah, we forgot about Egypt.
Egypt and snuck out of the trap. Now we're down. How did we get to France?
Jason, what about the bee Mormons?
What about the Ninja Turtles? What about the 12 students? What about doggone Tyler Robinson? We know nothing. Like she is, instead of trying to drag Brian Harpole, why not talk about the fact that the UVU police department dropped the ball? They did some things that you could be looking into.
Your
Wow.
chat is hilarious. Blair says, could it have been an alien on the plane?
It could have been it could have been snakes on the plane. It could have been snakes on the plane. I am tired of these snakes on the plane. Why do we have to believe any of this? Is a very valid question. This makes no sense. Okay, let's go.
At this point, because guess who owns the hangar? A French company. Okay. A French company owns the hangar. So that's interesting. Go back into this timeline and something else happens that's very strange in this constellation. Right after that, by the way, I want to show you this. So odd. Like we were so surprised when we got this. They depart on the 26th from Wilmington, heading back to Cairo. They released in that period of time that they're suing me. On July 27th, I'm showing you this private communication between our legal team. We were very confused about why this lawsuit was being filed in Delaware. Like, not putting anything together. I didn't know about Satis, nothing. This is my lawyer, and he says, here's like the PDF. It's massive. We're likely going to try to file a motion to dismiss to stay the case on the grounds that it's inconvenient to litigate in Delaware because you're in Tennessee. Your company's in Delaware to not defame anyone. The witnesses are in Tennessee. The Macrons are not citizens of Delaware. Thus, there's no connection to Delaware. Like, what are we doing in Delaware? We should dismiss in Delaware and say that they have to file where you are, like where they claim that they have been defamed is here in Tennessee.
Let me ask a question, Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Does it you live in Tennessee? I'm not saying you live in Tennessee. I'm not telling people where you live. You live in Tennessee and you do business in Tennessee. That would make sense then that you would be sued in Tennessee. Does that make sense?
Yes, it would make sense unless her LLC is based in Delaware, which it very likely could be.
It is.
One
It
of my
is, by the
companies
way.
was in Delaware. Okay, yeah. A lot of people do their incorporation in Delaware because it has great tax credits to do it there. Mine was there.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Wouldn't it? But it would be really weird if I pulled up a lawsuit where Candace Owens sued somebody for defamation out of Delaware. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? That would be just insane.
Sounds like it'd be part of some conspiracy.
And especially if it happened like in 2022. That would be really bonkers if I pulled that up and said when she sued USA Today for defamation during the COVID case, she sued them out of Delaware.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, how the plot thickens.
So, ma'am, you can't just sue them in Delaware when you want to, but then not get sued in Delaware because you don't want to. That's not going to work. That's not going to work.
So, Jason, just so I understand, her allegation here is that there's something fishy here that they're suing her in Delaware where her LLC is located?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
She's just ignoring the fact that she's formed her LLC in Delaware. She's making it, you don't even hear her say, like, my LLC is in Delaware.
Yeah, she didn't acknowledge that.
Right. She just says, well, you do business in Tennessee. Well, no, but your LLC was formed in Delaware. That's why they're suing you in Delaware. If your LLC, and I asked a lawyer, if her LLC had been in New York, it would be a different thing. Or if her LLC had been in Tennessee, it would have been a different thing. She put it in Delaware for a reason. Guess what? You got to take the good and the bad. Sunshine and rain, love. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go.
That's so interesting to me in retrospect that we didn't understand why this was happening in Delaware. Anyways, moving on to August 1st.
She doesn't talk about it.
She doesn't.
Same week.
She just as if it's
an
just
episode with me.
Hold on, as if they just chose Delaware. They, took a dart board and just threw a dart at the U.S. map and said, oh, Delaware. Let's sue her in Delaware. That's wild.
And what goes viral from that episode is that we are discussing the Brigitte case. Tucker is interested. He's watched the series. He believes that Brigitte Macron was born a male rather. And that goes viral, okay? It just goes viral, gets more people speaking about it. So you can just say a lot of stuff is happening at this time. Then what we have is in very early August, we know that is when Turning Point is beginning to scout this location for their event. The school is telling them this is not a great place for you to host this because there's no traffic control here. Turning Point employees insist that it is the best location. Headquarters employees insist that it's the best location. It's Charlie's preferred location.
But this is very interesting. Notice she's deliberately saying something that contradicts Brian Harpole. And she's saying it as if it is a fact that Turning Point insisted. Brian Harpole said that the school said, this is where you're going to be. Mm-hmm. He said, we give you a permit. This is where you're going to be. And he says, we can't argue or anything of that nature. So she's literally trying to create this story that somehow or another, TPUSA really wanted to be outside so that this could happen. But I still don't know how French come into this, though. This is crazy work.
So it's got to happen from August 5th to the 6th. That's the notorious Hamptons retreat that took place. Charlie himself described it as an intervention, and Bill Ackman disputes that narrative.
Where did he say that?
This is one of those examples of where she feels like she's established this as a fact, although she never did, and her cult doesn't pay attention. Mm-mm. And they have accepted it and internalized it as a fact, and so she says it like it is.
Right. Where did it happen? Where did it happen? Where was it? How do we know that he said it? Now, maybe you have an email. Maybe you have a text message. Show it with the timestamps, all that kind of good stuff like that. Not the made up ones. Don't be doing it on your iPhone.
Dylan disputes that narrative. Bibi Netanyahu offers to take Turning Point to the next level financially. Charlie declines that offer. Okay. We fast forward to the 17th. BBT flies again. It does its Nebraska route. Charlie speaking on August 23rd.
Again, Egypt has left the chat, and she's not talking about the planes following him anymore. I've noticed this. It's not trailing behind, because before she was saying that the planes were literally following him. Like, you get in your car, I get in my car, and I chase after you. Hey, follow that plane. Like, I don't know how that even works. And I think she realizes how ridiculous and ludicrous that sounds. So she's not saying that anymore. Now it's just the planes are just coinciding, cohabitating in life or in the air. That's weird.
Yeah.
Coexisting is the word I wanted. Okay.
It again goes through to Wilmington, and it stays one night on August 23rd in Wilmington before heading back to Cairo. On September 3rd, Brigitte Macron is basically opening up its Paris Design Week, and she's photographed with the Minister of Culture. We have that. And then drops off. On the 4th, we have the BTT flight departing from Paris. Now, I'm going to tell you what's really interesting about that September 3rd date that I forgot to mention before we get to December 4th. President Zelensky is in town also, though. Brigitte Macron welcomes President Zelensky into Paris on September 3rd.
What does this have to do with anything?
Nothing.
I mean, come on, man. Come on. Come on, Candies. Help us out. Help us out, Candies. If you're in the chat and you're a Candy, just tell us, what in the world are we seeing and hearing? What is going on here?
Somebody in your chat says Ukraine is now back on the table.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Ukraine is on the. At this point in the game, I'll need y'all to tell me where y'all have been. Where were you on September 10th? Where were you? Because let's go.
Because there is this remarkable, and I would assume rare, I don't know, but 35 state leaders meet to discuss Ukraine, securing the security of Ukraine, okay? That's what they're there to do. Brigitte greets him on September 3rd.
Was that not a big deal? Like, weren't they like tearing each other apart, Ukraine and Russia, kind of like doing that whole war thing where people were becoming unalived and losing limbs? Wasn't that a big deal?
Jason, you're neglecting to realize it wasn't as big of a deal as planning months in advance to send Candace a warning by assassinating someone else. And I don't know exactly what the theory is, but in her mind, it's a much bigger deal. They were here to lay a plot for her.
Okay. Well, anyway, that whole 35, the way she says that, I'm just done with it. 35. Yeah. We know there's going to be a stay tuned tomorrow. All right. This is crazy work. You know what? Real quick, Carrie, because I need to clean the palette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shout out some supers. Thank you so much. Slayer Princess with the $2 super says this. So good to see you both. Hey, you got some fans over here, Carrie. And if the mods could please make sure that Carrie's link is down in the chat as well. Y'all make sure you check her out. Candy is going to say she was supposed to be the target. Is that a reach?
Yes. Well, she said at the beginning of this episode that she was the target, that they killed him, but so to strike fear in her.
Yeah. Thank you, Captain Jackson. I don't think that's a reach too far at all. At all. Shout out again. Is there an exorcist in the chat? We are going to need one Candaspiracy stat. Thank you so much. Going to need one Candaspiracy. Thank you so much, Captain Jax. All right. What does Linda say this with a 5? The plane, Dallas. The plane. Oh, that's what we should have got some tattoo. We should have had tattoo from Fantasy Island saying the plane. That's what I should have did. All right, I'm gonna get that meme in there. Shout out. Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you. Amethyst says this. Are they her lawyers or the lawyers representing those who are suing her? I saw someone in another chat suggest that. Well, on the document, it says on the complaint, that is the lawyers in 92, was at 920 North King Road or whatever it was. That's her lawyers. Those are the ones. So, and you can see the Candyland documents, the Google Drive. You can see all the documents in it and see that's who represents her. But even more than that, like, why does she not mention that? Let's keep going. Thank you so much, Mo King with the $5 says this. Let her story be true, and then it will be her fault Charlie was killed. Okay. Not that he saved her, but that she got him X'd. She is wild. Okay, I can see that. You know, he called you and said stop it. You didn't stop it, and then they put Charlie's head to bed. Okay, I mean, that's a crazy theory. That one's a mind blower. What do you think, Carrie?
I'm lost. So it could be anything. At this point, it could be anything. I actually think she does throw darts, like you mentioned.
I think so. No question about it. She's a mean dart thrower for sure. Vanessa says this with the $2. I thought Trump called her to have her stop. I mean, that's what we heard. Why does she not stop? I think that's a good point. Captain Jacks again with the 5 says this. Remember, Tucker's description of Go Max convo looked different. Look nothing like the clip Megyn Kelly, MK, showed. Tucker looked confused in that clip. Good point. That's a good, excellent point. The story is totally different. The way Megyn tells it, Tucker tells it, and what we actually saw are not the same. So shout out. Thank you so much. See you with the 2. Isn't this how Holocaust started? She's dangerous. She's very dangerous. And I thank you for that for sure. All right, let's round these bases. Get done. Did she not see that her info was disproven? Is she really that myopic? Does she really think we all are stupid? She means her lawyer. She means her lawyer in DE. And I thank you so much, Amethyst Angel, for the $5 super. I just want to know, like, why are you not mentioning the fact that your lawyers are there or that your company is there? You mentioned all this nefarious that's going on in Wilmington, Delaware, but not the fact that you actually have business there, which would make you more suspect than this random Egyptians, than these random whomevers. You are just as culpable now because your lawyers are there. How do we know that they're not moving you around to do things on behalf of this other secret cabal? How do we know you're not a part of the cabal? Captain Jacks with the 5 says this. 100,000 commercial flights fly daily worldwide, approximately 150,000 total, including private cargo, etc. They are following Erica. There you go. I mean, you look out the window, man, there's going to be one following you. Absolutely. And what's Jen say this? Thank you with the 5. Please check out the Sherry Denise video on Candace's history. She figured it out at the young age that drama and lawsuits equal money and attention and email. I did do that video. I actually looked at it and we discussed it before, but thank you so much, Jen. Maybe I'll do it again. But it was an excellent video that she did. All right. How are you feeling?
Also, again, like I said,
I'm sorry about that.
Like I said, a little confused. It's okay. We're gonna land this plane.
Pun intended. I like how you did that.
Pun intended.
You know, I think it's interesting because, again, John from What Do You Meme podcast did a video about what the this style is that she does. Mm-hmm. And he explained it. It makes perfect sense. And I mentioned this also. You know, her book club that she always touts her book club. Have you ever paid attention to the books she reads?
I have not. I know it's a lot of occult titles.
There we go. There we go. They're all occult, MK Ultra exposed, a lot of things that are like, okay, fine. Maybe they're true, maybe they're false. But why are you not exposing your audience, Candace, she alleges to be a Christian? Why are you not exposing your audience to things, hey, let me explain to you about who God is, or something of that nature that would edify them and build them up? Why is everything that you read in your book club occultic, mind control, whatever? She was really going hard in the paint about a book called Chaos. And she described, say again?
I said, I've read Chaos.
Okay. And the reason I brought that up is because one of the elements that she described was the idea that they overload you with information. They overload you with information to the point that you will just start accepting things because the information is just so much to parse through all the time. And what does she do every show?
She overloads you with information and none of it means anything and none of it's connected, but people come away like these people in our cult, they come away going, she brings receipts. And I'm like, of what? Can you present in a cogent fashion what you learned today? And they can't. But they're very sure that she's, I don't know, like has good intent and is going to solve this. And there's a lot of nefarious and she's over time and over repetition, she turns people that she hates, people who know what she is, I think, who've correctly called her out. She turns them into these targets of wrath, and her audience ends up hating these people, and they can't really explain why. People like Seth Dillon.
Yeah, like why are you mad at Seth? Tell me why you're mad at him. You have no idea. You have no reason why. So let's finish this up though.
Was with the Minister of Culture. And then we have this flight that leaves from Paris. BTT leaves from Paris and it's go time, right? This plane is now going to stay for 6 days, and then it's going to go to Wilmington, Delaware. As you guys know, it's going to stay in Wilmington, Delaware before departing on September 11th after Charlie Kirk's assassination. I find this now to be very interesting, okay? Very interesting as to whether or not on that Egyptian, quote unquote, Egyptian plane, there could have been foreigners that are not from Egypt. And I think that's pretty obvious that these people were not from Egypt, okay? I really don't think this was an Egyptian-filled plane. Whether or not they had Egyptian passports or Egyptian names is a whole other story. But people at the state level print IDs, right? Of course, obviously. Jeffrey Epstein had a Saudi Arabian, totally different identification, multiple passports and different names. I am very curious about how that timeline is coming together, because we were getting very close to something as we had started on September 8th, by the way, our Becoming Brigitte season 2. And we were looking at how unusual it was that a dog was barking a bit too loud. You know, a thief that nobody was pursuing was running. And that was us discussing the MK Ultra program, and Brigitte Macron, strangely, and Emmanuel mentioning MK Ultra in the lawsuit to us 18 times, struck us as odd as we were trying to determine whether or not it could have been Brigitte Macron that was involved in that Stanford experiment, this prisoner, 2093, that was being protected. We didn't know why this prisoner was being protected. We sent somebody there. There seemed to be more. And what really terrifies me is that if my inclination that Xavier Poussard's messages have been being read and tracked for longer than I even realized, and that's the reason they initially sent that cease and desist in December, was to ward me off sitting down with Xavier Poussard, then what we hadn't yet presented to the audience, but what we were investigating on the back end, if they were aware of that, it really makes me wonder if we were on the right track. And it was something that was so sinister, you know, involving maybe another step of the MK Ultra program being used to foster serial killers and to give serial killers new identities and allowing them to run in countries. That
I don't even think I fully even understand what we're doing anymore.
Nobody does.
I am sorry, y'all. I am so sorry. And we have a guest here, and I'm telling you right now, Carrie, if you were not here, I would have already quit this video, and I would have gone and just said, I'm done. What in the world is she talking about, y'all? And I'm sorry. I really believe that this is part of the problem with what she feeds herself. And I know a lot of people don't like that. I say, Candace Owens is not a Christian. And the fact that she doesn't, she feeds and feasts. And I'm not saying you cannot enjoy non-Christian content. Don't hear what I didn't say. What I'm saying, however, is if your steady diet is non-Christian content, you have no other outlet but for this to become what you become. Like, if all you're doing is feeding on conspiracies, the occult, mind bending, and this, that, and the other, that's all you've got. You have no way of discerning, no way of parsing through this stuff. So every crazy thought that comes into your mind is a valid thought. And we know good and well, I hope you know at least, that's not the way it should be at all. Wow.
Yeah. I can't imagine her, though, sitting down. Can you? And doing, like, reading some C.S. Lewis, like, or the Screw Tape Letters.
We're doing the Screw Tape Letters. We're doing a book discussion in January, going through the Screw Tape Letters. We just finished John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress. And I would much rather, why is she not exposing her audience to that kind of stuff?
Because she's not a person of faith.
Well, that's my point. That's why I really want that to become the obvious, so that even a Candy can say, okay, this person's not a Christian.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this person's a person of faith, whatever Candy wants to say, but they can at least say, yeah, this is different. And not attacking Allie Beth, calling her a fake Christian, but you want me to believe this is a Christian? Okay.
So the Bible's always talking about discernment. Jesus warns over and over and over. Why does he talk so often about knowing? You will know them by their fruits. Why does he talk about that? How to discern who are false shepherds, who are not. It's not about what label you put on yourself. It's about fruits of the Spirit. How do you behave in the world? And it's funny. My husband and I were doing a Bible study the other night. We were reading the beginning of Romans, and it was the verses that were about how God gave them over to
A
their
reprobate
sinful
mind.
desires,
Yes.
right? And during that part, it started talking about all these characteristics, full of a lot of it made me think of her. It's sort of like full of malice, deceit, slander, gossips. It's like they became gossips, they became slanders, and every single thing it was naming, I was like, wow, this is, she was on my mind recently because I covered her on my show, but it, it's easy to see what the fruits are. I don't, I,
Absolutely.
I,
Well,
I don't understand. I guess I do understand why it's hard for some people, but it should be
I,
easy, I think.
I'll throw one out just as I've been telling people. Look at the people that follow them. Look at your audience. That's a really good indicator. It's almost in 4K, tangible example of the product of what you've been teaching. And so we have a lot of fun over here. We laugh. We have a lot of fun, and we yuck it up and all that kind of stuff like that. You can judge me by the fruit of my audience, okay? And judge Candace with the same level, the same intensity. Judge her audience. There you go.
Can I have one
And
comment on that I
you
found
most
fascinating?
yeah, go ahead.
So after she put a clip of me on her show, I got introduced to her audience, and they they came over and found me. There were hundreds of them, and what was interesting is that a lot of the women were. I think it's more women in her audience than men.
Okay.
But the women tend to exhibit more what I would call cluster B traits. And so when they're all trying to insult me, but the
Yeah, yeah.
women tend to focus in that feminine, toxically feminine way. They did the thing she does. It's all, insulting you, your character or your looks or whatever. So it's all ad
Mm-hmm.
hominem. The
Yeah,
women
yeah.
were all, you're stupid, you're a loser, no one cares what you say, you're dumb, you have a bookcase, whatever. The men though, the men that came over, the men in the Fandus, they exhibit more of like cluster A traits, meaning more of the schizophrenic type of paranoid delusions. All of the men, almost all of the men, their comments were, "You're a Jew, Israel this,
Mm-hmm.
$7,000, Jews, Jews, Jews." I was like, wow, there's a real gender divide over why they're watching her. I think she
Yeah.
feeds like the resentment and like the darkness for some of the women in tearing people down and watching people get torn down. But for the men, I think it has more to do with like these obsessions, and the men who are in there obsess and focus on
Yeah.
Israel and Jews, and yeah. So anyway, I thought that was
No, no,
interesting.
I'm looking on the Twitter as we speak. And I just think and the one person that put 7,000 was a man.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're adorable, y'all. Y'all came to the wrong house if you think I'm gonna do anything. If you think I'm gonna worry with you, whatever. I'm gonna make 25 more videos, and we'll just have fun doing that. And y'all can
Why
watch those.
25? Make 7,000 new
Um,
videos.
yeah, I'll make it. Yeah, absolutely. Let's finish. Let's go.
Was kind of conversations that I was having in the background with Xavier. And we thought that we had perhaps identified Brigitte Macron at Stanford University, a possibility is what I would say. We were maybe at a 50-50%. And then suddenly Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, and it totally throws us off of the scent entirely because we're trying to figure out what happened to Charlie. And now, strangely, trying to figure out what happened to Charlie has brought us back to a France question, right? Why on earth did France move? I mean, who wants to lease a hangar in Wilmington, Delaware for 2 years to paint planes? Ostensibly, we're supposed to believe that this was a maintenance stop, but
Why is it so interesting that why does she is this a personality where you make all of France like it's a French company? Okay, got you. But we don't say like all of America when we talk about Walmart.
Yeah.
We don't say all of America when we talk about McDonald's. Like why because a French company bought land here, bought a hangar to paint planes or whatever they're doing, why is it France instead of the name of the company? Like why is that? This is wild work. She's exhausting.
as the tip proved to us yesterday, that wasn't the case. That was a front because that had not been operative from 2021 all the way forward to the end of 2024. So literally, that plane was still making stops in Wilmington, Delaware, and there was no lease to that. And these were federally controlled waterways where that hangar is situated. And we learned that this is a building where there's cooperation between the feds, Homeland Security, and also contractors, independent contractors, which means people that are not a part of our government's apparatus. So the question becomes, who was the foreign dignitary that was escorted on the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination to 920 King Street? Is it?
It was it was the Macrons to talk to your lawyers. Like what's that got to do with it? Why did the French have to come here, or the Egyptians have to come here, or the Israelis have to come here to do such a deed and task if they've already put people in play? Like the connect is not there. I don't get it. This is wild. Anything, Sherry? Anything, Carrie? Please forgive me.
I think it was Colonel Mustard with the pipe. Sorry, that's a clue joke. You guys your audience is too young.
No, they'll be commenting. There's a lot of astute clue people here. They said it was her husband. That's wild.
Plausible that for whatever reason, Charlie allowing Tucker Carlson to hit the stage and to say that made Charlie a bigger problem than us. I have to tell you guys, in my gut of guts, there is something unbelievably. I just look at Brigitte Macron and I am telling you, you are looking at an utter psychopath in my view. There is something dark. There is something deep there. I see it in the eyes, in the performance of this all, that the response in France has been to start to harass people who came out and tried to tell the story, to effectively ruin their lives, to go after their finances, to debank them, the strange circumstances of.
This is projection 101. I don't know. Maybe it might be. Do you think it's freshman year, or do you think they made it to sophomore year? 201. But it's projection for sure. Why are you projecting like this, Candace? I don't get it.
Harassing people, trying to ruin their lives.
Look at your audience, Candy. Like, look at the Candies. What are they doing on your behalf?
Some people who have tried to touch this story, and we've covered this also in our series, that wound up dead. Something is not right. And what terrifies me the most, by the way, is how far, the length that they are going through to protect Brigitte. Who the hell is Brigitte Macron? Okay? Because it ain't Brigitte Trogneau. I can tell you that for free. Who is this person? Because power is allowing us to see how illusory it all is. They would rather protect Brigitte, even though the whole world no longer believes that Brigitte Macron was born.
What does that got to do?
The whole world, Jason.
The whole world is laughing at you. Shout out to Teddy Pendergrass. What are we talking about now? This is craziness. This is madness. This is madness. This is some wild work right here. So now, somehow or another, the Macrons have been brought into the chat. How does that even work? How did you get the Macrons in here? Did they have a passport? Did the Macrons? Shout out to Emmanuel and Brigitte. How did they get into the best live chat on the internet? This is crazy work. How many bingos do you have?
Oh,
Carrie?
Man. I have more than I don't have, I think.
You have more bingos than you don't have. Okay, I have 4.
I have 12 now.
Wait, what did you say?
I have 12.
12 bingos? Hold on.
12 that I've X'd off? Yeah, let me show you.
Hold on now. Hold on. Now, we are not going to have any of that kind of shenanigans. Now, nobody's got more bingos than me. We're going to have a problem. There is no way. How do you have more bingos than me?
Maybe I'm not counting them right. I have 12 that I've marked off. Here they are.
Hold on. I'm upset now.
Well,
I'm in my feels.
I just sense and I feel are pretty much the same.
No, you got 12 words. You got 12 words.
Yeah.
Oh,
what do you mean?
Okay.
You're playing 12 games?
Yeah, I've got 12. I'm trying to get blackout.
What? Oh, I don't know. I don't bingo often. Well,
shout out to Phantom in the building. What did Phantom say right here? Yo, this is so unserious. We are so unserious. Does she know that the USSS and DEA and FBI are all Fed, LE, and should work together? Law enforcement. Oh, and an independent contractor is a guy who is hired by the government. Phantom, thank you so much for the $5 super. I don't think I don't think that's crossed her mind. I don't think that's even entered the resources of her mind. I don't even think so. All right, Carrie, we gotta get you winning.
Okay, I have 0 bingos now that I understand.
How do you have 0 bingos? What do you need? Put your screen back up here.
Okay.
We got to make sure. We got to do the right thing here, y'all. We got to do the right thing. We got to make sure Carrie. Look, we have guests over here, man. We got to make sure. Come on, y'all. FOIA.
Did she say FOIA? I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure I heard her say FOIA. Well, hold on. In my ear, she said FOIA. I heard it in my ear.
Okay.
And I have a hunch that she's going to say some more
I got
words.
a bingo. There we go.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
There you go.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All that stuff. Feliz Navidad. No. Oh, wait. Somebody said, no, she didn't say.
Yeah,
FOIA.
I didn't hear it.
But guess what?
I'm
going to put you in 0-second timeout, 34. You don't challenge me with that. I said that she did say FOIA. And because I said it, she said it. Trust me, bro. I bring receipts all the time. All right, let's keep this going. Carrie, you're like traumatized. Like, what in the world are these people doing?
But they would rather risk the entire thing coming undone than to just say, okay, maybe we took it too far. Let's get Macron out of office and put somebody else in there that we can control. They are taking this way too far.
The
reality is that these countries that have so much power and these leaders that have been in place and these systems that have been in place, and part of it is because of how much money they have and the lengths they will go through to keep things a secret. But the thing that they are forgetting is perception is 9/10 of the law, right? They have been able to do so much and to conduct so much evil because people around the world actually didn't believe that evil existed, right? The illusion was very important. Now they are violating the illusion and just hoping that money is going to fix this. Money's not going to fix this, okay? Killing people more is actually going to catalyze the understanding that we're all having that there is something very dangerous and something deep and dark that is going on. And the themes that were in this Brigitte story are now in this Charlie Kirk story. So many people involved here having a history of child sex abuse. It's just not normal. How many times does this come up in the Charlie Kirk story? Whether you're talking about George Zinn or the person that jumped up and screamed or the pastors, the Calvary Chapel, that for whatever.
Or the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny that she just seemed to, she completely ignores. And again, I'm not saying that there's not problems that she's not called out, but she seems to be very, very keen to misrepresenting Calvary chapels, misrepresenting these people, but not talking. I mean, going as far as saying, hey, well, Calvary chapels, when they find out somebody's got involved in a SA, they just move the people. Just like, you mean like the Catholic Church has been doing? All right, let's go cause some trouble. Shout out to the
reason
Candies.
Kept getting into these scandals that we went over the other day. That does not, to me, feel like a coincidence. So
is that vibes? Do you think those are vibes?
That's vibes.
You think that's vibes?
Sure. Yeah.
I think
does
it's
not
vibes.
feel like
It does not feel.
I wanted to highlight one of your commenters really nailed this. Candace always reveals how she's not as intelligent as she's able to convince people of. And she just said perception is 9/10 of the law. And did she mean possession is 9/10? It's possession is 9/10 of the law. I didn't even catch that, but one of your commenters did.
Hold on. I heard that and I wasn't certain that I understood it. And I was just like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
Perception.
She did say perception, but she did say perception. I'm a pre-K law student, so y'all leave me alone for that one. There we go. If you have bingos, please put in the chat how many bingos. The goal is, of course. So Ben Shapiro says she's a faux sophisticate. It's starting to make sense. All right, let's keep this dance going. Let's go.
Are they just so arrogant that they think that money is going to make this go away? You have to do the right thing. You have to make people believe that real justice can be served. Okay? And right now, we are getting a sense that doesn't even seem to be a plausibility.
Who is we?
And that things are becoming even more extreme. More money is being spent in trying to get us to invest in a fiction. Like, I don't know. It just seems like it's all coming undone. And so I wanted to express that to you guys, that we should prod that narrative more. We should learn more about that company, Satis. We should see, we are receiving a bunch of tips about that company, and we are going to chase down those leads, because it's very difficult once I put that in a timeline for me to simply ignore the France angle. Obviously, France would know. They should be able to just help us out. I'm sure they should be able to reach out to France and say, hey, you purchased this hangar. I mean, you decided to lease this hangar for 2 years, very short time, to paint some planes. Could you tell us who landed in Wilmington, Delaware, and was shuttled over to 910 King? I think that would be a good start.
That's kind of embarrassing that she really believes that anybody, well, first of all, that the whole country, like, she's probably calling the French consulate and thinking something's going on. It's just a French company. But just how arrogant she comes across, as if they're going to do something for her and they have to.
Yeah.
Like,
She does this with all of her targets. She makes demands that they, like, even when she said way back when, I heard the Candace saying, well, look, she said she'll stop all of this if Erica tells her to. I'm like, wow, you're saying that this grieving widow has to interrupt her grief process and pay attention to this narcissist and tell her to stop, which, by the way, that won't get her to stop anyway. That never
it
worked.
won't get her to stop. No. Because she'll, why does she want me to stop? Does she believe in free speech? We already know the playbook. We already know. We already know. She's about to go to commercial break.
Anyways, we'll be right back, and I'll tell you about Brian Harple's big lie when we come out of a few sponsors. I got to tell you guys, by the time we're done with this list of verifiable turning point lies, it's going to look like a CVS receipt. You know what I mean? It's just getting longer and longer, and these misrepresentations are, of course, lies. So Brian Harple obviously sat down with Sean Ryan, and he tried to explain how things went wrong and how it wasn't fair, and woe is them, millions of dollars that we received. But this is actually the fault of UVU police, right? It's actually the fault of this Chief Long. Now, I had a lead on this for a few weeks from within Turning Point USA. Many people
in the chat, real quick, green hearts in the chat if you don't believe that she has a lead within Turning Point USA. Green hearts in the chat if you don't believe that she has a leads in Turning Point USA. Like, why would these people engage with her? I just don't understand. And if they're so bold, then why are they not just going ahead and stepping forward and just, I mean, nobody's willing to put themselves out there. Everybody's like, hush, hush. I got to keep the conspiracy going. I got to keep instead of saying, you know what, let me just go ahead. Fine. If they fire me, they fire me. Let me side with Candace. Like, why are they not doing that? Nobody. Because I'm pretty sure if we counted, she's probably had 20 leads. And none of them is willing to come out and say, hey, yeah, let me put my name on here. Let me stake my life on it. Bada boom, bada bing. This is crazy work. Anything, Carrie?
She's got spies everywhere.
She got spies everywhere.
Obviously leaking within the organization, but I wanted something a bit more solid. Like, they were telling me that they knew for certain that the security did some abnormal things that day. Personally, unless I am certain as it pertains to Turning Point USA, I try not to speak on it. But as it turns out, security people are getting fired or getting moved around at Turning Point, and people's families are getting threatened. And so people in the security apparatus are starting to speak. And now we are certain. So foremost, jog your memory of what he said, what Brian Harple said to Sean Ryan. He describes a communication that, and he says it in a very odd way. I can tell you right now, the reason why he describes his communication with the chief of the UVU police in an odd way is because it's not his communication. He's actually presenting a text message between Dan Flood and Chief Long, Take a listen to how he says it.
On Monday before, this correspondence went to Chief Long. Hello, Chief Long. We received this message today from the student group. There is a student roof access pretty close to where CK will be set up at the Utah Valley. The Sorensen Center has a couple of staircases that go up to walkways on the roofs. He comes back, and for edification, the Sorensen Center was the building in front of the Lucy Center. And so he comes back and he says, you want access to the roof. And came back and said, I was told students have access above us. If this is true, it would be nice to either have it controlled access or allow one of my guys to be there as well if possible. He comes back and his last correspondence was, I got you covered. What else am I to do? When a command level person from an accredited police department says, I've got this area. Jeez.
Oh, pick me. So I can confirm to you.
I hate when she does that.
She's so nasty.
I want to, okay. Now, I did assume that he was having that conversation with the police chief. Now, if it was the Turning Point USA security, guy who's actually over and directing him, that actually makes it worse. If I'm understanding it correctly. But I want to go back. I'm going to hear what she says, because I got a feeling she's going to because he doesn't say that he had this conversation with them. He says the correspondence goes out.
Yeah.
He doesn't say, I talked to Chief, unless I missed something. But let's see what Candace says, because I'm sure it's going to be interesting.
Guys, that's something else that they could have done, would have been to at least walk around UVU when they arrived. They didn't. Never did a walkthrough. And I can also tell you that this is a severe misrepresentation, because the reason why he says Sorensen, and obviously many people picked up on this, like Lozzie is supposedly where the student got up on the roof. So why would Sorensen even matter? Well, apparently, and again, I confirmed this with security inside of Turning Point. There somehow happened.
She could have subpoenaed or asked for the police chief's information. So she's going with leaks and these alleged persons, which again, she's not showing you any evidence to this. She's just telling you. So there's why do I need to trust that she's telling the truth?
This is the part of her I just have to, I know we're having fun tonight, but
yeah,
this is the part of her that I just find absolutely repulsive. Why are you smiling? Why her face is not, this is not a normal person's face. Even if
Correct.
what you think you found, and even if she were a real journalist or was bringing to light new information, which she's
Facts.
not, even if you were, you would not be reporting it with sadistic glee. This man is traumatized, whether you believe
like
some
him or not,
crazy
yes.
conspiracy that he had something to do with it, which she's trying to implant in a demonic way in the minds of her audience, or whether you believe that they lapsed in their duty that day, or whether you believe they didn't. No matter what you believe, this man is traumatized with grief, and she is she's reveling in this, in just tearing down his character and in implicating him. It makes me so sick to my stomach. This is what I talk about when I say she's evil.
No,
She enjoys
I agree
this.
with you. I agree with you 100%. And let us also just point out that when she thinks she has you under her thumb, she's going to keep driving it in and such like that. Or she thinks she really has you in a weakened position. So she's just going to drag this man.
Yeah.
And such of that nature for what exactly is the benefit of what she's doing. And I'm just going to add this last little caveat to the Candies. Just think about it. This investigation, what is it going to be the end result of it? Is she going to take this information to the police? She's already said the police were corrupt. The feds, nope, corrupt. Where's this information going to go if she does find out that it was this, communist beekeeper hanging out with the Ninja Turtles in the tunnels? Where's she going to go with it? Nowhere. It goes nowhere because she's already implicated everybody. So who's going to sit there and work with her? It's crazy work. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, I know.
To be a leak. And so they can't dispute this. But actually, Dan Flood was primarily and only concerned with the flag of halls, which is behind. That's what was behind Charlie. So I'm going to actually show you this, what they're referring to and why he says Sorensen. I don't know if your mouse can move here. I don't know if you're able to do that. It's okay if you can't. But you can see we're up there on the right where it says Sorensen Student Center. Well, there is a way, as you can see, to get down and get across to the walkway. And that's what they wanted to secure. They wanted to secure and to make sure that nobody had access above Charlie's head. And that's why he says the walkway. He knew that, by the way. Obviously, he knew the context of that. It's very strange that he's reading that off of his phone as if it's on his phone and he had the communication. That's fundamentally dishonest. He should have said, this text message happened between Dan Flood and Jeff Long, and here's what.
But, you know, it's funny because they did actually, he talked about the walkway and the big ornamental rocks and how they got a police officer to stand there and not barricade it off, but tape it off so people couldn't walk by and chuck a rock over at Charlie. He talked about that. And it's like, she totally missed that, or she's just being dishonest, or maybe both.
Yeah,
I don't know.
both.
Yeah, because I mean, this is the same woman that didn't happen to mention to you that her attorneys are in the same building with the FBI. Oh, okay. All right. Carry on.
What it was pertaining to, or he should have showed more, but he couldn't show more. And, you know, Sean Ryan got played. He did. And he should be upset that he got played because they're basically using him to just propagandize the situation and pretend that they're somehow the victims.
Isn't that funny how she does that? How she tries to separate people like, oh man, Carrie, you got played. You were a victim. Like he came over there and lied on you.
Yeah.
And then of course, if you don't respond in kind, then Carrie's, you know, in compliance with lying Jason or whatever.
Cluster B all the way down. That's my opinion.
No, I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. Shout out to Phantom. Again, everything the guy said was true. Personal security is responsible for the bubble around the package. Nothing else. The UVPD must secure the campus. I don't think it, and he explained that pretty well in the video. The problem is she had to find something to discredit that video because a lot of people watched it and a lot of people agreed with Brian Harpole and thought Sean Ryan did a good job.
Something else that is very strange that I was told early on when all these leaks were coming is that not only did Turning Point not walk the campus when they got there, I'm referring to the security, but also the only thing that Dan Flood apparently cared about was making sure that their SUVs had clear access behind Charlie, in and out access. So they were not concerned about any other rooftops. They were not concerned about walking to make sure that they had access to other rooftops, obviously, or to make sure that they could see what points it was that the people could just walk onto the courtyard. They weren't concerned with any of that.
Why not? Why at some point do you not just say, hold on, I need you to be willing to come on camera before I use your quote unquote leak? Because we're like, okay, where did you get this from? Because you're just saying it. Why do I need to believe what you're saying?
We got used to this, unfortunately, from the old media during, the COVID years, the BLM years and everything. They would the journalists, as the journalists became more and more corrupt and betrayed us more and more and fed us more propaganda, and they would just start using unnamed sources all the time. It became much more common to do that. But this is not any kind of journalistic standard, just to completely over and over again rely on unnamed leaks and sources. Trust me, bro.
Right. Just trust me, or just give some, or just say, hey, okay, at least corroborate it. Because I mentioned before, the scriptures teach that don't, out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. We have no witnesses. We just have one person telling us this. And that witness can be a video. That witness can be an email. That witness can be a corroboratable text message, whatever. But you just saying it, Candace, doesn't mean anything. And you showing us your spreadsheet that you made doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. It really does. It's sad to watch because you're like, this woman's just saying this, and these people are just eating it up.
Cared about, for whatever reason, was the flag of halls, controlled access in the flag of halls. And I'm wondering if that reason is because, this is really interesting, but I told you it's kind of strange that there were only 2 videos of people really that saw the alleged shooter on the roof that sprinted off of Losi. I found that to be quite strange. There were a lot of people there that day. There was a lot of action that was caught. There wasn't even any more testimonies that came out. And when we hunted down the origin of those videos, I found it strange that those students who shot it didn't post it themselves. They went through third-party people, fourth-party people. One person, both of them, jumped through multiple hoops to get that video out. And when we tracked those people down, both of those students or non-students were in the military, right? ROTC.
Oh, God.
I found that to be very interesting and compelling. And I am
Compelling, why?
wanting to know more about what was happening in that Hall of Flags. Something is off here. There seemed to be a lot.
I have to confess, Jason, my dad was an Army Ranger, and I've got military
Oh, no.
connections. My
Oh.
grandfathers both served, and that's
Carrie.
very interesting. I find it to be very strange that you invited
Carrie.
me here today.
We gotta let you go. Now it's military. Now the military is catching strays again. Yeah, I mean, if you take her seriously, then again, you know what? I don't like it. I don't like it. I just don't. I don't. I feel like conspiracies and Candace are best friends.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's enough cheating for right now. I'm gonna get blackout bingo. That's why I have a black board today. This is craziness. Wow. All right, let's bring her back. Let's get
Was
that.
about the Hall of Flags. Even that Indian kid that we had showed you was taking that shot, who said like, oh, I didn't know Charlie, but he was really popular, was posting all of these videos and somehow gave his videos to the news. He was in the Flag of Halls, or the Hall of Flags, pardon me. I think more needs to be known about what was going down in the Hall of Flags, and I intend to find out what that was.
Of
But
course you do.
turning points.
And you're not gonna let the lack of information impede you from finding that out, because you're gonna make up something.
Yeah. There's always got to be something. You notice every episode to her Candace, it's always there's something. I need everyone to go and investigate the Hall of Flags now. You know, like whatever it is. I need everyone to go and investigate this Delaware office.
Right. Or track down the license plate numbers of those rental cars.
Yes.
And then to mock it as if that is not problematic. I'm like, how is she not getting sued for this? Because her attorneys are in the building with the FBI. There you go. That's it. Prove me wrong, bro.
Security completely dropped the ball, and they knew they dropped the ball, and yet they then tried to pass that off by misrepresenting text messages. Why is he protecting Dan Flood? Why isn't Dan Flood speaking? Has Dan Flood been fired from Turning Point USA? Was this actually just a propagandist mission to sit down with Sean Ryan and to lie and misrepresent? Everybody's instincts were correct about that interview. We are still being told lies by Turning Point. Now, beyond...
What is the lie, though? He did. Now, again, I'll give you this. He did not say emphatically this is a text message. But wait, I want to know this. How do we know that it wasn't a conversation with him? How do we know that? She just said that it was a conversation between Dan Flood and Chief Deputy Long. We don't know that it wasn't. It could be Harpoles. You know what I mean?
It's
You
just,
just gave up?
she's the only source. I just given up. It could be any. Yeah. I don't have. It makes me so frustrated, Jason. I'm sorry.
No, I'm with you. I mean, we might.
Yeah, we don't know how many conversations they had. We don't have,
No.
you know.
None. So
on that, this is crazy. This broke in Utah. So the story goes, and I told you that the story was BS, but what the feds told us was that grandpa's gun was missing, and then a friend called, and the dad, Tyler Robinson's dad, recognized his own son and then turned his son in. And I told you that was a lie. That's not how things went down. And I was called a liar, and no one believed that I had sources. Well, now, mysteriously, the footage of Tyler Robinson turning himself in, which should, in theory, show his dad and him walking in. His dad turned him in. Remember that storyline? Well, it doesn't seem like we're ever going to be able to get that footage because it's now missing, ? Take a listen to KUTV News investigating.
I'm going to stop for a second. If you have teenage daughters, let's go with, 12 and older, you probably are getting at your wit's end because Candace acts like a 15-year-old. I'm going to just tell you that. I have a 15-year-old in my house, and she acts just like her. The things that they say and do are just, they act like kids. And she behaves like that in 4K. ? Like, I'm right. Come on.
Yes.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Yes.
Tell me I'm wrong.
It's not childlike, it's childish.
Childish.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You just act like a child. And anyway, I think it's very interesting. So now she's going to cast a specter on whether or not Tyler Robinson's dad really marched him in. And she's going to miss the biggest thing on the plate is that Tyler Robinson and his dad and mom have not come out and said that he was innocent. So whether or not there's a video there is actually kind of beside the point. Why is the mom and dad not jumping in front of the camera saying our son is innocent? We want justice for Tyler.
Meanwhile, can I just say, because of all of this crazy, insane conspiracy theory and conjecture and really attacking just so many different people and countries and organizations and everything, because of this big circus that she's put on, that's all about herself at the root of it. We actually, people aren't talking about some of the facts of the case as they're coming out. I'm still waiting. I follow true crime. I watch a lot of true crime podcasts. I want to see the trial. The trial hasn't happened. Her Candace is always talking about, like, don't you want the facts? I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm going to wait and see what the state has for their case. And I'm going to wait and see as things come out. And what we do know is Turkey Tom on his channel had a source who turns out to be, he verified this person's identity, who is a roommate, a friend of Tyler Robinson and his roommate and lover. And he gave him some personal photos of the house. He described what it was like, what the trans lover was like, how he would build these like nests on the couch and go through these periods of depression and alcoholism. And he gave a lot of details sort of about what the environment was like there and how it might be impacting someone's mental health to be in that kind of environment. And does she ever cover anything that's related to the actual case? Like, no.
Which seems, or like, why just immediately assume, or why did she not actually pursue UVU and find out what was the deal with UVU and for example, is it true that I could not come out and fly a drone? Did you find that out? You just assume that they lied. Or what about the actual ambulance story? Is it true that you all did not that you're responsible for having the ambulance there? Why did you not do that?
Yeah.
That should be, why are you not pursuing those? Those are he gave you a lot of breadcrumbs to pursue, like FOIA his phone records, find out that kind of stuff like that, find out why the school didn't do those. But nope, we are in Delaware looking at the French, which is crazy work. Like,
and Bridget Macron is behind it all.
How did Brigitte Macron get back? I did not have that on my bingo board. But you know what, though? Hold on. Sorry about that. I did not have that on my bingo board. I feel betrayed. I feel betrayed that I did not know that.
Are you cheating?
What are you talking about? I would not cheat on this game. I want you to stay tuned till tomorrow to see that I don't cheat on this game. I do not cheat on this game. How dare you? I am offended. How dare you? Do you need a word?
You said stay tuned for tomorrow, so I'm going to take it. Now
I also said FOIA. I also said FOIA.
I got that.
Betrayal's right there.
You want to
Right
take
there.
betrayal?
You
Okay.
can have betrayal.
There we go.
We got
Vibes.
Come on. Wait, you got Vibes? Best friend? Come on. What are you doing? Do you not want to win this game? Carrie, the goal is to win the game.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Do you think
Wait.
what are the chances she's going to say number one podcast? Because I've got that one on my.
I got a feeling. If not, I'm going to say it at the end.
Okay.
But I believe she's going to say it. Carrie, the goal is to win this game.
On
by any
September
means
17th,
necessary.
2025, Washington County Sheriff Nate Brooksby held a press conference.
Our job was not to interview, our job was just to get him here.
After Charlie Kirk's alleged shooter was taken into custody in Washington County less than 2 days after the shooting.
Within the hour, my friend drove Tyler and his parents to my office, where he was greeted by plainclothes detectives.
After learning of this, I submitted a public records request to obtain any video of Tyler Robinson walking into the jail facility. Washington County responded saying there were no records responsive.
See? So your mind is at ease. I did not have to cheat. See, I just knew I just knew it's gonna come.
To the request, as Robinson did not go to the jail area. Our request for any holding room video was denied. A few weeks later, I re-upped the request on a more generalized scale for surveillance video showing Tyler Robinson walking into the sheriff's office.
For the state of Utah, we would certainly hope that this video is available.
The response? Our office does not have any applicable records responsive to this request, as the surveillance footage is no longer available after the 30-day retention period.
If, in fact, it has been destroyed and not preserved, it's very concerning. And if it has, then it's very concerning that they're telling you they don't have it. If they no longer have it, I would have expected to say that this video has been provided to the Utah County law enforcement. Please contact them. But instead, this letter leads, in my opinion, as trying to shut the door and not give you free access to the press.
While it's not clear if the video exists and was just handed over to another agency, in a response to me, Washington County shared with me they don't believe the video was shared with anyone involved in the case.
Wanting to get videos showing that he turned himself in and the manner he did so would be crucial for the defense work of mitigation.
I don't know, guys.
So I'm just wondering, is every person is there a video of everyone that, John DUI or Sally meth head, do they all have video of them walking in? I'm not saying it is wrong, but like, why?
Like, why would you retain it? You're saying the footage outside of a police station?
Why would you retain outside of a police station? Is there better question. Let me say it another way. Is it uncommon that there's not a video?
I would think they don't retain it in most cases. Otherwise, you have footage going back for how long? Like, of every single minute outside of the police station. I mean, we just got new cameras I live in a small town and I go to the city hall meetings. We just got new cameras. I don't think they retain it for longer than 30 days. Is that if they don't first of all, we don't even know that they don't have it.
Right.
So
That's
all of
point,
this is speculation anyway, which is classic Candace. But even if they don't, to me, that's sort of like, well, that's unfortunate. And I wish you had had that so people wouldn't be thinking there's something crazy. Why are you doubting this? Why are you doubting that his parents turned him in though? That's bizarre to me.
Right. So I'm sick of this.
Let's go back to that CNN interview where she says that the text messages between Tyler Robinson and his lover were fake. And she used that word obviously, like she was obviously fake. And then she revealed when the reporter, I can't believe if you let CNN dunk on you, like she let CNN dunk on her. They asked her, yeah, why do you say that? And she said, well, Discord said they weren't real. And they said, well, actually, these were not the Discord messages or something else. These were the text messages between him and his lover. And she said, I didn't read that they're text messages. Well, it's in the indictment that they're text messages.
And the funny thing is, she actually read the indictment on her podcast. And so she reads that. She reads that part. And I'm like, why did you act as if you had not read it?
Yeah. But in those text messages, he says, my dad's asking me about, he recognized the gun on TV. It's a very specific gun. My grandfather gave it to me. You know, his parents did the right thing.
Correct.
And bringing in a family friend to help convince him to turn himself in, like, they did the right thing.
I agree. Okay, we got to get done because I've got something fun. What do you think? Are you done with Candace?
I'm so done.
I'm so over her, man. Okay, I'm gonna make an audible, y'all. I'm calling an audible. I'm calling an audible. I want to bring up something. Somebody just sent me a tweet that I think is very funny. So let me bring this out of the way. All right, here's a tweet from Candace. Let me see if I can make it bigger. All right. Candace, yes, just now, just like 16 minutes ago, maybe about 20 minutes ago, has had to, I don't know why she's doing this. Carrie, if you can maybe tell me why you think she might be doing this. Looks like another round of desperate and fake debunking regarding the Egyptian planes. These federally sponsored trends are as fun as they are predictable now. And I can tell you guys with absolute certainty that today I learned the federal government is in a panic about the mention of their joint DHS, FBI, and DEA office at 920 North King. The tip proved absolutely solid, and I was informed so. It is now a fact that the foreign dignitary was picked up after arriving from Provo the morning of Charlie's assassination on an Egyptian plane and then transferred to 920 King for some joint operation. And yes, despite the massive office space, there is nothing else in that building except a law firm. And a place to eat. Why did she have to say that? Why did she say that?
Maybe she's eating at that place. Come on.
Y'all, why did she have to say that there's a law firm in the building? Is there a law firm in the building? Why did she say that? Oh my gosh. Wait. The law firm piece is an interesting side fact related to the portions of the email that I chose not to read on air.
Oh, well, I won't share yet. I'm taking that. I might bingo.
Oh, you can have it. You can have it. Why is she doing this? Shout out to Candace. Why did you do that, Candace? Oh, I got blackout now, by the way.
Oh, stay tuned.
Yeah.
I'm taking that.
Stay tuned. You have it.
Yeah, have it.
Say
Okay.
less.
All I have
Why
is
did she
number
do
one
that?
left and docs.
She docked somebody, I'm sure. Whatever. She docked somebody. Why did she do this, I wonder, y'all? That is so interesting that she would do that. So, like, why? Why would she address that? That is weird to me. I don't know what to say. I think this is adorable that she still doesn't mention that it's her law firm. Why don't you mention it's the law firm that you are tied to, ma'am? It's not just the law firm piece. It's the fact that it's your law firm. I mean, am I wrong? Like, why didn't you mention that? Oh my gosh. Shout out to Candace. Oh my word. This is hilarious. All right. Are you okay? Carrie, have I traumatized you?
I made it.
Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. We're done with Candace. I know y'all don't like, look, what the heck? We're done. I'm not gonna ruin my guest like this. She'll never want to come back. She won't want to come back. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna finish with John from What Do You Mean? And I just want you to hear. Oh wait, did I download it? I didn't download it. Okay, let me just pull it in here.
I just
I want
looked
you.
this up.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You're 100% right. I had not seen this before we started. And I didn't trust you, bro. I just looked it up. That is her lawyer's office.
Did y'all think I was making that up?
No, I just wanted to verify it with my own eyes, Jason.
I beg people on the stream, like, please check my homework. Please.
Yes.
I have a friend of mine that works in the military. He's retired. Please forgive me. He's a friend of mine that retired from the military. And I said, please please check my homework, please. He's the one that did the the Google Street View that shows outside the building the address of her law firm. If you see on Twitter, that's him. So
I'm looking at the lawsuit between the Macrones and Candace, and it's right there. The defendants. This is the counsel for the defendants. It's her lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just want to know why the Candies. I'm not trying to say like I'm somebody special, but come on, Candies, come on. Make this one more difficult. All right. Shout out to John over at What Do You Meme podcast. I want to bring him in because he did an excellent job. And let me know if you want to stop Carrie at all. But otherwise, I just want y'all to hear, why is it that Candace is so, why is it that the Candies get so sucked in to this narrative? Why do they get so bogged down and they will literally crash out on behalf of Candace? All right. I think you'll really enjoy this. If you could, please drop green hearts in the chat when you can hear. Let's go ahead and go to war. Let's go.
Candace Owens might be one of the most persuasive voices online right now. What she's really doing, whether she knows it or not, is one of the most effective persuasion formulas on the internet. Her videos on Charlie Kirk's assassination have averaged millions of views, and Candace is incredibly good at one thing: making people feel certain without ever proving anything. So I sat through all 36 hours of her investigation so far, every clip, every theory, just to see what's really going on. And what I found were 5 tactics that make Candace Owens not just convincing, but dangerously persuasive. And once you see them, you won't be able to unsee them. Now, obviously, a lot of people feel deceived and gaslit by institutions, and in many cases, rightly so. But that's not the only thing going on here. If you've ever watched one of our episodes, you'll notice it immediately. The odd footage, the timestamps, things that don't line up, the screenshots that don't make sense, and the random people who suddenly seem suspicious. But she doesn't just give you 1 or 2 of these. Every episode, she throws out more than you can count. Nearly 15 in this video alone, sometimes over 20. In fact, I say that this is virtually the entirety of her episodes. She gathers anything that could look suspicious, even if it could be random or unrelated.
On 9/4, Kash Patel as far as November and December. Then we have Frank Turek on October 7th. Well, Megyn Kelly.
And with so many anomalies being introduced every episode, at least a couple of them will strike you as strange. And given the sheer volume of her claims, your ability to think carefully about any of them gets drawn out by the sheer number of them. By the time you start to think critically about one date, or rumor, or insinuation, she's already moved on to the next. So eventually what happens is you stop paying attention to the quality of the evidence, and you're overwhelmed by the quantity, leaving you to conclude that there's just simply too many strange things occurring for there not to be something more going on. This can be thought of as an anomaly overload. It's what happens when a flood of speculation starts to feel like evidence, and when the gaps in our knowledge become proof that something sinister is happening.
What's going on here? What are Egyptian military subcontractors doing in the middle of Provo, Utah on the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated?
And even though she hasn't proven anything yet, within 1 episode, you've already moved on from curious to convinced. And all she had to do was to keep asking questions.
The crime that you were not allowed to commit. Just asking questions.
Okay, but her asking questions is exactly what's in question. If you listen closely to her podcast, often she is just asking questions, but in a way where people hear much more than just a question.
Yes.
Sometimes she makes the implications clear, as she did when implying that Donald Trump was involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination.
I think it is a circumstance where we just know. We just know that he was truly betrayed in one of the most egregious ways that I think I've ever seen. It has made me lose faith in politics. It has made me fully lose faith in Trump. And my heart aches for the fact that he gave so much of his life to Trump and to politics. And they just were like, nope, that is it. And he serves us or doesn't serve us, and we want to move on. And so here's a holiday. Bro, what is with them giving people a holiday after they kill them? As soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you. Okay, there's no question. They killed you.
But most of the time, she stays just short of an accusation. Her questions are often laced with heavy inflammatory suspicion, framed as innocent curiosity, while implying someone's guilt or their hidden motives.
So what was the blue plane doing sitting on the tarmac?
That's what makes her question so powerful, because it gives her plausible deniability. If her theory collapses, she was just asking questions. But if it turns out to be true, then of course she was right all along. And that has a powerful effect on her audience. It's the way that she frames the questions that makes her audience hear them as evidence for a conspiracy. So she doesn't need to directly accuse anyone because she sets it up so that way her audience fills in the blanks for her. But questions aren't evidence of anything sinister happening. When it comes to actual evidence, is how she controls the evidence. That's one of the most important tactics that she uses. But before we get into that, we have to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Aura. Now, if you've ever wondered how scammers get your phone number or why your inbox is always flooded with spam, well, this is why. There's these companies called data brokers that sell your data, and they do it without your consent, and they make billions of dollars selling your information to marketers, scammers, or even stalkers. And while they're legally required to remove your information if you ask, they make the process confusing. Tom says, what do you mean? Or click the link below to try 2 weeks for free.
Shout out to
All right, now let's get back to how Candace controls the evidence, making it nearly impossible to argue against her. Take a look at this tweet from Blair White saying that almost no one has proved Tucker or her wrong. And the reason people can say this with so much confidence is because of the way that Candace handles evidence.
I have it now on a very well-placed authoritative source.
To start, when it comes to a lot of her claims, we simply aren't able to verify if they're true or not. She often cites unnamed sources, and we have no way of knowing who they are, how reliable they are, or what they actually said. We just have to take her word for it. So when people say to prove her wrong, well, most of the time you can't because she hasn't provided any evidence that she's right. Now, I'm not saying she's doing this, but in theory, she could just be making it all up. This is why the burden of proof always falls on the person that's making the claim rather than the person questioning it. Okay, but here's where things get even more challenging. Even when we do...
I'm gonna have to go back on that one. I'm sorry. Carrie, I gotta back that up. I know I don't want to stop, but...
Yeah, back it up.
Yeah, because this is what we're saying. Like, the burden of proof has always been on Candace. It has never been on you or me or anyone else that's disagreeing. Maybe we're like, hey, we don't know enough. We haven't seen enough. You want me to just trust you, bro. And like, if you haven't given me the, what am I trusting you with? Why am I trusting that you're telling me the truth? What are you about to say?
Oh, she's done this since the very beginning. She's done this back when she was she created she was a leftist and created a website to dox conservatives, and one of the people who was targeted on that site was someone she personally didn't like, Tree of Logic, and Tree of Logic had death threats against her. She was a former police officer, and she would do this thing where she would make allegations and then tell the other person that, like Tree of Logic, you have to prove that these allegations I've made are not true. That's proving a negative. That's a rhetorical device. It's a cheat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you know, hey, I'm gonna say that Brigitte Macron is a man. Prove me wrong.
Exactly.
Like, no, you prove that you're right. What is your evidence that you're right? There you go. Therein is the rub. Okay, let's keep it going. Great video.
Always falls on the person that's making the claim rather than the person questioning it. Okay, but here's where things get even more challenging. Even when we do have direct evidence showing that she's wrong, it still doesn't count. I mean, take a look at what she said about Netanyahu's letter from Charlie Kirk.
He is severely misrepresenting. Those sentences are real, but I am calling upon Bibi Netanyahu, the dear friend to Charlie Kirk, to publish the letter's entire contents. Like, don't start with just 2 sentences. Publish the entire thing. You're holding it. I'm saying you're severely misrepresenting the content.
Now, this is a common power move. She forces Netanyahu to choose between 2 options. He can either release the personal letter to the public or keep it private and look guilty. And when the letter was released and it confirmed exactly what Netanyahu said, it didn't seem to change her mind. In fact, this is the same tactic that we see over and over. She demands evidence, and if you don't give it, then you're hiding something. But even if you do give it, it doesn't disprove her claim. Instead, she treats the evidence as suspicious or even as more proof of a cover-up. So either way, she wins, and that makes it almost impossible for our audience to recognize when she's been proven wrong.
Yes.
In addition, remember when she said this about Bill Ackman blackmailing Charlie?
You're not going to gaslight us and tell us to shut up or call us anti-Semitic for pointing out the fact that Charlie was having a change of heart about the tactics that Israel was using in America, and that he felt when he had left that meeting that he had effectively been blackmailed.
But just 3 days later, when Bill Ackman denied it, she said,
"Okay, buddy, I never said you blackmailed Charlie. I asked you if this moment happened."
So notice how she shifted the claim and then frames him as the liar. And that's what we really see going on here, because the way that she gets you hooked is not in the evidence she presents, but in how she frames the evidence. See, at core, humans are emotional beings and we respond strongest to emotional arguments. And on social media, nothing spreads faster than moral outrage. It gives us a sense of righteous anger, the feeling that we're on the side of good and standing against evil. And this is something that Candace has nearly mastered, because in every episode, she leans into moral outrage, not just about what happened, but about why more people aren't as angry as she is. And she regularly questions anyone that isn't digging into the case the way that she is.
We all feel that something is spiritually wrong, and yet these people are trying to tell you that there's nothing to see here.
Okay, but if you pay close attention, you notice that she isn't just assuming the very thing that she hasn't proven, that Tyler Robinson wasn't the shooter. She's also treating disagreement with her as a moral test. In her framing, if you disagree with her, you're not just wrong, you're morally wrong. Or worse, morally compromised. People are afraid to disagree with her, not only because they're worried about being attacked by her and her fans, but they'll also be painted as immoral, naive, or corrupt. So whether she intends it or not, she creates a powerful good versus evil dynamic. And that's why any disagreement that me or others have with her instantly turns into accusations that we're somehow being paid $7,000 by Israel. In their minds, the only reason that you disagree with them is because you're part of the conspiracy. You notice that she doesn't just argue a case, she creates a cause. And the result is what we see today. A fierce and growing community which keeps her audience loyal even when she has nothing more to go on than a gut feeling.
I don't know, but I know.
And this is when we get into another powerful tactic: spiritual attacks. Lately, she's moved a lot of her attention over to the Christians who don't agree with her. And one thing that she really doesn't like is when Christians use scripture to point out what's wrong with what she's doing, as she made clear in her response to Frank Turek.
Then we have Frank Turek, who engages in this same sort of act of psychological manipulation, in my viewpoint. And he defends Mikey McCoy. I think this is on his own show. Here's what he had to say.
There's a difference between a possibility and evidence for a possibility. You can speculate on anything you want, but unless you have evidence, shut up, okay? Because all you're doing is causing dissension among the brothers, which is something the Lord hates.
So the clip goes on, but she not only labels his correction as psychological manipulation, she escalates it by calling his argument a form of spiritual deception.
The other thing he's doing, of course, is the biblical manipulation, which seems to me to be that there has been a military infiltration into the churches. I think we've covered that enough this year. I've termed that Operation Mocking Pastor, where they just try to find some scripture and justify it. And he's a pastor, he's earned trust, so he's saying she's judging people. The Lord says this. The Lord says she shouldn't look into the trial. The Lord says she shouldn't ask questions. The Lord thinks that people should just shut up, right? That to me is like the sickest form of manipulation. The sickest form of manipulation is to try to present it via the lens of what God would want. You don't have to do that. Just say what you think, say what you mean, and try to manipulate people in the old school way.
She says it's God time.
This has become more of a pattern, because even more recently, she not only dismissed Ali Beth Stuckey's scripture-filled critique by calling her Christianity fake, but even worse, Candace doesn't say...
I apologize. What did you say, Carrie?
Well, what he's saying is, again, it's projection. This is what she does. She called Allie Beth a fake Christian. She also is the one who's always saying, it's God time. This was a God thing. I had a vision. Charlie came to me in a dream, like a prophecy. So she's doing all these things that she's accusing Frank Turek of doing.
That's crazy work. I agree with you. All right, let's get finished. We're almost done.
To mind appealing to God in the Bible when it suits her case.
There's no justification. There definitively cannot be any godly justification for what they have done and what they have always done in Gaza. Once you recognize the people defending that, beyond this, you will start to look at them as possessed by some sort of a demon. And typically that demon is just money. Okay? They just want the money. And the Bible is explicit about that, right? You can't have both. And like I said, God's chosen people do not endorse that. In fact, only Satan chosen people could.
So she does seem comfortable using religious language in scripture as a way to give her claims spiritual weight, while discrediting Christians who do the same when they reach different conclusions. And here's where it gets even more concerning. Listen to how she uses spiritual language here.
I am begging you all, those of you who go to these mega churches, those of you who are evangelical, who follow these evangelical influencers, you are probably noticing about now that they are mum on the topic of Charlie Kirk. They want to move on. They want to let it be known that it's just a trans shooter. Not one of them is standing up and going, no, 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 no. I spiritually feel that something is wrong. We all feel that something is spiritually wrong. And yet these people are trying to tell you that there's nothing to see here. That needs to be your wake-up call.
So first, she treats her instincts as spiritual signals from God. And second, anyone who doesn't share those instincts is framed as spiritually blind or spiritually compromised.
They are asking you to set aside your instinct, your gut instinct, your God instinct. You recognize something is wrong.
However, this is ironic given the thousands of comments that people have left on my videos saying that they did trust their spiritual instincts and it led them away from Candace.
Right.
They felt like something was off in their spirit, and not with the people that she critiques, but in the way that she's been approaching things lately. And by the way, if you felt that too, if you believe that something in your spirit is being unsettled by what she's been doing, go ahead and write it down below in the comments. And not to attack her, but just to see how many Christians have been sensing the same thing. So at this point, this has been going on for months now. She's currently made almost 40 episodes on this topic, and she keeps telling her audience that they're getting really close to solving this case.
We are making so many discoveries in this case, and I have to tell you guys, we're getting close. I've got a feeling about that. We're close. We are now, I believe, extremely close to solving this thing, and their panic is making me think that we're getting closer to something, and that something is pretty big. And I just sense that we're getting close. I sense that we are getting very close. We're getting low. Very close, I think, to what actually happened on that day.
But at the time of recording, none of her episodes have gotten us any closer to a single verifiable theory. And at the end of the day, Candace isn't the first person to confuse her moral instincts with truth, and she won't be the last either. The louder the world gets, the more that people will mistake confidence for credibility and emotion for revelation. But scripture calls us to test every spirit, and we should ask questions, especially of the voices that might feel righteous. And that includes my words just as much as hers or anyone else's. You can ask yourself, where am I letting emotion or outrage replace evidence and truth in my life? Because if we don't learn to recognize those tactics in the voices that we admire, then we'll never be able to recognize them in ourselves. And the moment that we stop testing what we hear is the moment that we stop noticing when we're being led somewhere that isn't grounded in the truth. All right, thank you guys so much for watching it to the end. And if you want to support us in reaching more people with clarity and gospel hope, then you can do so at the link down below. Your monthly support means more than you know. All right, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.
Shout out to John from What Do You Meme podcast.
That was excellent.
That was. And I did drop his link. Let me double check. Make sure I dropped it in the chat again. Yes. Is that right? Yes. All right. So definitely go check them out. Make sure you comment and let them know what you thought about that particular video. I think that's the link to his whole channel, not that particular video. Carrie, we made it, I think. We survived,
made it.
Kinda.
Did you get blackout bingo?
Oh, yeah, I got blackout bingo. Multiple fold. Let me see. I think I closed it out. No, I got it still right here. Yeah, we
right
look,
on.
We got it. We got the blackout bingo. That's why I had a black board today too. Did you get it? We got you.
All I was missing was #1 podcast. Man, nobody ever said that.
Oh, cause you know I'll probably cut it off. You know what though?
I'm gonna take it.
You can have it. You can have it.
There we go. Blackout. There we go.
There we go. What are we doing? Why are we limiting ourselves? Free yourself. Gary, let me get these supers and then let's get out of here. Let's roll this thing on up out of here. Let's see. Thank you so much, Captain Jack. Says this, the university chief refused to return his calls and didn't ask city PD for assistance, which means there is beef between those two agencies. Why is Candace not pursuing that? That's the question. That's the question we need to ask. Thank you for the $5. Super. Let's keep it going. M. Saunders says this, OMG, she just makes it all about her. And now it's a global military. She's been doing this for 2 months. I'm like, why is it that a global military, a global conglomerate, multinational conglomerate is allowing you to keep talking? Maybe because your lawyers are in that building. Shout out to Willie Doc, my brother, my Morehouse brother. Great combo, Jay Witt and Carrie. Thanks for the fun stream. Thank you for the $5 super. See, Carrie, people, look, we enjoy having you.
It was fun. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Love listening to you two and your comments and this crazy conspiracy theory that now covers the whole world after a long day while driving. Thanks. Lily A77, thank you for the $5 super. And it's our pleasure. We have fun doing this. We really do. Shout out to Captain Jackson again with the 5. I have never had a video show during any trial, much less a murder trial, shown during a jury trial. Captain Jax is served as in law enforcement. Okay, she's talking about the video of Tyler Robinson
when they come into the police station.
Yeah. Right? Okay, fine. All right. There's no video of it. Well, what does that mean? Is he not in jail now? Did they go? What do you want me to do? Did they run out and snag him with the Ninja Turtles? What happened? Like, tell me what you think happened otherwise, because he's in jail now. Tell me. Or maybe you think he's not in jail. Maybe he's not. What do you think? So Phantom with the 2 says this: feds do not want a field office to be exposed. I hope I hope they do something about that. I agree with you. I thought that was really bad yesterday. I'm like, how are you out there just reading out addresses like that? That's kind of crazy work. Thank you so much, Hugh with the 5. Look up interrogation tactics. Illegal if practical, maliciously applies if public citizen is doing interrogation, asking questions, interrogations. Okay, I'm not 100% certain. I'll look up interrogation tactics. I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay out of interrogations altogether. That's how I support the criminal justice system, by staying out of the criminal justice system. Carrie, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys were fun. I saw a couple of people I know in the chat. That was fun. And yeah, and you should come on Deprogram sometime.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll make it happen. We'll talk afterwards and coordinate something and see what we can do. Because I would love to come by and check out what you're doing. I want to say thank you so much to the best live chat on the internet. Thank you so much to the mods. I'm gonna drop you back, Carrie, but if you hold tight, we'll catch up after. All right. Thank you so much, Carrie. Thank Carrie for coming through. Why don't we do this real quick as we get ready? Let's go ahead and just flood the chat with Carrie, because she did a great job, man. She put up with a lot tonight. So let's flood the chat with Carrie. I want to say thank you so much to everybody who tapped in. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to the Candies. Shout out to everybody who's watching me that doesn't like me. I appreciate you for sure. It's all good. It's all good. Hopefully you at least heard my position, where I stand with this and where I ultimately want Candace to be, which is to make good Christian content that edifies Christ and makes much of him. So, whatever. Let me know what y'all think about it. Thank you so much to the moderators for keeping everything moving in the right direction. I appreciate y'all. Thank you to everybody with the supers. I really appreciate y'all supporting the channel and what we're doing over here. And of course, the best live chat on the internet. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. Let's go ahead and jump over into the most electrifying comment section, and we'll chat over there real soon. Everybody have a fantastic night. I'll see you real soon. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.